Hello, and welcome to You Will Be Ashes, a game of Spire, The City Must Fall from Ghostlight RPGs. I'm Ted Bushman, Game Master for this series and several others. Joining me tonight are Jamie Hansen, Kristen Perkins, Graham Ward, and Carson Wright. This is our finale. This is our final episode of this arc, our concluding session of this story of freedom-fighting drow investigating a corrupt and terrifying cult connected to the Elfir, the oppressors who control the upper parts of Spire, the great mile-high city. So, how are we all feeling?
Great.
Good.
Excellent.
Fiery.
Good. Yes. Fiery. Yes. Good. Connect to the sun. But in lieu of announcements, everybody in this group, I feel like, I guess many of us in this group have some cool things coming up, and I'm curious to hear what are people's next projects. What are people working on at the moment? We're sort of jumping off from here. What's coming up next for you all? Start with Jamie.
I don't have anything in the immediate future. I have potential shooting opportunities over the summer, but things I'm not supposed to talk about for those reasons.
Secrets.
MCU. Okay.
Wow.
Paperwork.
Shang-Chi's
Yes.
brother.
That would be nice. But no. Nothing specific to announce at present, but excited to be closing it out.
Ooh. Kristen, what's up for you next?
It's my birthday on Friday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. As opposed to last Monday, which was literally Ted's birthday. But I like to really milk it out and get at least a week, if not a little longer.
Indeed.
I think what Ted is referring to though is that I will be attending graduate school in the fall, and that was sort of decided in the last couple of weeks. So that's very exciting for me.
Where will you be going? I can't remember. What will you be studying?
It's funny because I worked really hard to get into this school, and now I feel awkward saying it. It's not that it's like people go to the school, but I'll be going to Columbia in their theater and performance studies program.
Yes. And where will you be living?
What is this?
I don't know.
Tell us everything, Kristen.
Hopefully, I'll get a unit in the same apartment building as Carson and Ted.
I can understand why they'd be celebrating. That's exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Wow, magical. Yes, very exciting. I also just wanted you to say just personally, because I assume that all of your cohort will end up watching your streams.
Of course,
certainly.
Yeah.
So retroactively,
it's sort of fundamental to understanding me and my research project.
Exactly.
Why all of your doctorate has to do with spitting and
yeah, paper mache. Yes, thank you. And Graham Ward, what's come up for you?
Hello, I'm Graham Ward.
Hello.
I've always got 10 irons in the fire. I'm about to start a rep season where I'm going to be doing 4 shows at once. And then I'm going to be running a Kickstarter with the illustrious Ted Bushman for The Last Caravan, Cars and Aliens role-playing game. And you can go to thelastcaravan.com and find out how you can playtest, look at the quick start for free, and be notified for the Kickstarter on launch. What else is going on? I'm very excited because I'm going to be pulling back a little bit from the Dungeons and Dragons. I've been doing a lot of D&D for 2 years, and now it's going to turn back toward what I was doing before, a little bit of theater. And maybe I can play games for fun on the stream and elsewhere again.
Wow, sounds
cool. So
a little pie in the sky.
Yeah, I know. I hate to suggest that I have fun, but
games for fun.
It's it's a complicated relationship
in this economy.
When you make all of your hobbies your work. Anyway, so it's going to be an interesting transition, figuring out whether I want to do the career that I used to have or stay doing game stuff all the time. Yeah, we'll see.
This is a cool and interesting question. I'm excited to talk to you more about this outside of the stream. But anyway, and Carson, what's the latest for you?
Well, my students this week are going to have a little test on the things we just learned tomorrow.
Whoa.
And next week there's mock regents testing for them, so we're going to do that. And I'm honing in on a great mahjong set that I want to buy.
Yeah, wow. Okay. All right.
So-
Don't leave us all too far in the dust there, Carson.
Of course. Yeah. Nothing particularly super amazing or memorable, but I'm actually kind of grateful for a time. I've had so many visitors and family around in the recent few weeks.
Yeah, seriously, even in a time. I'm looking forward for one to a summer of games and excitement all around. So we'll be doing plenty.
Games for fun. Not like
Yeah,
this.
games for fun.
I
Yeah.
hate doing.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So in our last episode of Spire, You Will Be Ashes, our group infiltrated the cult known as the Purifying Sun. Slowly, as you came to know them, you came to understand a little bit of their strange beliefs, that they were centered on this idea of weakness and overcoming weakness. There definitely aren't any modern movements, definitely not about masculinity, that you could compare to what they're teaching or how they're angling it. Definitely not. But there's a lot of focus on personal improvement rather than any engagement with larger oppressive systems. And you see a lot, you met some very like genuine hearted people trying to find some sort of meaning inside this group. But as you climbed the ranks, you came to understand some of the darker intentions. And by the very end, you, specifically Arcolic and Chrysanth, were invited to a meeting with Brother Lanium, who from back at the beginning of this story, Rosin Dracker, this mutilated person we found, had said that Brother Lanium is not what he seems. You learned that Brother Lanium has been taking devoted members of this cult, the Purifying Sun, drugging them and transporting them somewhere. When you met with him, he informed you that the intent, the purpose of the cult is to overcome weakness, not through working out or dealing with your addictions or any of this, but in fact by becoming Elfir. A very strange and frightening proposition for these species, groups of people who do not seem to bear any relation, except for this belief, this cultural idea that once in the past the drow became cursed, and that curse has persisted to this day. You realize, of course, that this combined with what the High Elven University has been studying, this idea of understanding the drow curse and its origins. You learned that the head researcher involved with that had been giving recommendations to a certain Nihilus Oak Branch Blooming, a powerful Elfir who Brother Lanium also cited. And also the name of Altruin, Splendid Among Dragons, was dropped. So, with all of this in mind, you were able to administer a hypnotic tincture to our friend Brother Lanium, who has now become susceptible to Chrysanth and Arcolic's recommendations, who may be able to help them to infiltrate whatever this place is where the devoted are being sent. So, a content warning for tonight's session. There will be oppression, there will be cruelty, there will be microaggressions. There will also be bodily harm. Burning will be a pretty significant part of tonight's events, as well as other forms of sort of mutilation by way of experimentation that you may see. So maybe somewhat triggering for viewers, and just be advised. It won't be absolutely horrible. I'm not really into that, but it will be, provocative and frightening in nature. There will definitely be language, possibly sexual content, and we will explore more as we go. So, without further ado, welcome to You Will Be Ashes. You'd stand in the hot ray of light and watch over a minute or two as your skin, deep ocean blue or inky black or snow sky gray, steamed. If you'd stay in the sun's light long enough, it would dry and crack like pavement, like broken glass. Eventually, when blood leaked from the cracks and the pain grew too much, you'd slink away back into the shadows of your world. You can still hear the echoes of those who tried to take care of you, who chided angrily, saying, "Little one, the drow cannot survive the sun. The day world is not made for us." The world of the Elfir, the high elves who rule the city of Spire, it burns like the sun. On the fields of the war in Nujab, Chrysanth felt the fire of their arcane weaponry and the scorching heat of their disdain. In service of their grand households, Moreau, you felt yourself dehumanized, reduced, made into a cog in their machine. Serving out their death warrants, Arcolic, you knew their disregard for the life of the drow, and the Bliss, as an artist working alongside them, you felt the secret ferocity of their self-superiority and the danger of their displeasure. In the great city of Spire, high above the land of Destera, the sun is everywhere. A cult called the Purifying Sun has taken a worshipful approach to the curse of the drow, stepping into molten rays of sunlight, scarring themselves in pursuit of some higher form. Now, having spoken with Brother Lanyon, you have a sense of what they are seeking, to cast off being drow and become Elfir. Now, having used a hypnotic drug on Brother Lanyon, you might have access to the secret place you've been seeking ever since you found the mutilated Rosin Dracker. The sun burns people like you. You've known this your whole life. Remember, the stories of those who challenge the sun always end in ashes. Welcome to Spire. Arcolic, you are 17. You're sitting on the terrace of a high amaranth estate, carved into the ceiling of the district and only accessible by megacorvid or arcane elevator. The false starry sky glitters above you. The marble districts lies far below. You can see the angles of streets and the street lamps that light them. You stand next to Rakub, Winter Unchained, a beautiful young Elfir man. He's got a braid running down one shoulder. He is leaning a little too far over the railing, a bottle of alcohol in his hand, leaning and laughing. What does Arcolic look like at 17, and what does he act like?
Long, spindly guy. If you were to see him in juxtaposed with how he looks in the contemporary time of our game, he would just look like there's no meat on his bones. Like he's filled out a lot. Kind of has a roughly triangular shape, but just like really long and dangly. And he has kind of like this silver gray skin tone, which has always kind of made him feel, I guess, like a set apart, no matter where he was. Like he's clearly a drow, but there's something about his like particular, whether it's like, I think all of his family probably have it, that just change the way people look at him because of how he presents. And so he would have like one braid that starts at the front and like goes all the way down of this kind of silvery hair. And he actually has the privilege of engaging almost like a peer with the Elfir. Yeah,
it's the one where Rakub is like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, Arcolic? You gonna let me fall? You gonna let me fall?"
I should let you fall.
Oh, come on. You're gonna let me fall?
You're drunk. Come back.
And he keeps leaning. Do you step in? He's starting to look pretty unbalanced.
Yeah. I'll catch him by the wrist that's holding the bottle and try to guide him back.
I guess. And immediately in doing so you pull him back and he sort of stumbles like, "Oh, thank you. Oh, my savior. So thank you." He sort of pulls away from you, steps up onto a bench nearby, jumps up in the air, and there's a fountain sort of nearby on the terrace of his house. He jumps up and then like with a flick of his hand, sort of levitating energy takes hold and he like floats above the water. And he goes, "What? You were worried about me falling?"
I'll just say that saving you is a temporary state, and I can't expect it would last for very long.
Oh, very well. Oh, Arcolic. like a brother. You hear in the house, there's a little bit of commotion. These big gold-plated sort of Art Deco doors open, and Rakab's uncle steps in, looking very officious and quite displeased, and says, "Rakab, there is some news for you." And he throws down on the desk between you an envelope. It is sealed. It sort of like emanates with a little bit of arcane like steam. And he, sitting with his bottle, looks down at it, but doesn't touch it. What is it? Some love letter for me? What do you think? What do you think, Arcolic?
I'm smart enough to know that I engage differently with the uncle. You know.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd take it myself if if his uncle is lingering, but I'd kind of watch and clearly more curious about it.
Yeah. Rakab doesn't want to take it. He sort of looks to you as if to make you take it, but you don't, wisely. The uncle lifts his hand and the envelope lifts into the air, rips itself open, ascends out of it, and he says, "Rakab, this is a challenge. You apparently romanced the fiancé of someone who is not particularly pleased by it." Rakab says, "Oh no. Oh, whoops." "This is no laughing matter. You are challenged to a duel tomorrow morning. Do you intend to take this challenge, or do you intend to bring shame to our family in addition to your normal weekly amount?" Rakab, what's the point? Why should it doesn't seem very important. Well, Arcolic, what do you think?
Rakab, it's not just your honor, it's possibly your life. You treat it with this much disinterest.
I mean, look, my father had enough money to buy off your durance. You know how expensive drow durances are? More than you would think. They cost a lot. And surely they can make this go away. Right? Right, Uncle? Uncle says, "Rakab, either you or someone who represents you must step into that dueling ring tomorrow."
And I'm looking Rakab over, and it is very clear that he doesn't have the skill or maybe the sobriety to do that. I don't think Arcolic would quickly come to this decision, but if it, sort of that tension stays in the air and becomes too strained, I'll stand and kind of button my whatever it is, doublet, and say, this doublet, which is like almost like a costume that I wear, and say, "My lord, I don't think Rakab can succeed in a duel. Humbly, I suggest I might."
The uncle looks at you as you say this, sort of like not keeping your eye contact for a while. Like he's looking at your clothes. He's looking at, I don't know if you have a rapier at your side or anything, but he's sort of looking at you, and he goes, and he looks over at Rakab and says, "Well, what do you think? Will you let this one do it?" And Rakab says, "What, my brother fight on my behalf?" I mean, would you want to, Arcolic? You are pretty good.
Better that than you dead, you fool.
The uncle slaps you across the face.
Yeah, that's definitely that. Yeah. That's, I can understand why he would do that.
And Rakab then stands up and sort of tries to use some arcane power to lift his uncle up into the air and sort of push against him, but the uncle sort of pushes back, and there's this moment where you feel energy reverberating off the two of them. Rakab is like, "Don't speak to my friend that way," and he sort of collapses back.
And I'm kind of now bent to the knee, hand tightened with my knuckles white around the hilt of the rapier. Maybe this is one of the first moments where I truly felt that what would be best for me to defend myself is not allowed.
Yeah.
And I'm like very disquieted by that.
Yeah. Yeah. The uncle sort of takes this and looks once again not at you but at Rackham and says, "At dawn tomorrow." Sighs and strides away. Rackham goes to you kneeling, sort of takes your hand, kisses the top of your head, very like sort of just like fond way. Lifts you up, says, "You all right?" Looks at your face.
I'm gonna fight for you tomorrow. And in return, I'm going to ask a favor.
All right. Let's hear it.
I'll like glance around. Is anyone? I'm assuming there's no longer anyone watching.
You're alone. You're on the terrace alone.
Take him by the lapel. Not too aggressive, but enough to show that I'm not joking around.
Yeah.
Say, I want you to rate your life at something better than a speck. And I may not be recognized for having saved it, but every time you look at my eyes, you'll know I did. Don't forget. And kind of gently press him back, smooth out the lapel, walk out.
Yeah. Oof. Next morning, boom, it's dawn. It's like an open, sort of lovely little sporting space that is sometimes used for, exhibitions and other things. But today it's cleared, it's open, it's all marble with some pillars around. A number of people, not too many. It's not like a public thing. This is mostly the group of each combatant who are here. The uncle is here, looking pissed. And you see the opponent, this society gentleman who stands with his rapier. He's got a pair of spectacles that you can see like sort of reverberate with a little bit of magic as if they enable him to see in some different way. And he's looking at things and is just putting on his quite lovely gloves and eventually steps forward and looking at Rackham says, "I've been told that you are sending your dog to fight me. Is that correct?" And Rackham says, "My friend, Arcolic, a great swordsman, will be fighting you today. I didn't think it worthy of dirtying my hands with your blood. All right?" And
Arcolic's all business, testing the flex of the rapier, kicking stones off the area where we'll be fighting. Feeling things out, stretching.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's make a roll here. You're going to succeed no matter what. What I want to roll for here is the quality of Arcolic's performance and sort of his feeling in the process. So you can roll a regular die. I assume you have fight as well. I mean, we'll assume you have fight, and then you can roll if there another domain you would want to roll.
High society.
Yeah, do it. Yep, fabulous. Yeah, you've been in these dueling. Like Rackham is not a good fighter, but he has to be trained anyway. So you've beaten him in 35 different dueling situations.
And like truly, I think this is an area where Arcolic was not at liberty to socialize the same way.
Yeah,
and so what he had was the ability to go train, and turned out to be really damn good at this, despite no one really wanting him to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Rolling 3.
Yeah, great.
It's a 10.
Of course it is. Yeah, describe it. So this guy comes at you. He's a mixture of a lot of high society flair. Like this is a trained fighter. He's not faking it. He has learned his lessons. There's also a little bit of trickery, you learn that you see that like he has an offhand that is actively like has a slight poison edge, not that would kill, but that would simply slow you down, not enough to have his society ruined, but enough that's deniable. So tell me how you best him.
Great. Yeah, I think my style is very like disengage heavy, and so as we're fighting, starts off like 90% footwork and dancing the blade around his, very little cling cling as the swords kind of avoid each other, and then as I'm starting to tire him out, the aggression kicks in, and it becomes a very practiced, very deliberate driving, lots of, I mean, okay, so the real fencer's coming out in me, but like lots of double lunges, starting to get not reckless, but like super bold footwork, and circling him, and then finally just drive him to the back. And I think the sword ends up just like sliding all the way down the blade to the hilt, and then I kind of get in over the top of his blade straight into the collarbone and then tear it through. And yeah, there's a moment where like I certainly could have mercy.
Yeah.
And anyone watching kind of expects me to. Yeah. And I'll make eye contact with Rakub and like break through the collarbone.
Oof. Yeah, and this socialite goes down just in utter shock, looking at you, doesn't get a chance to get a final word, doesn't get much dignity, just goes down. It's pretty anticlimactic. But you pull out, clean the blade, and the last sort of moment we'll get of this is there's like a little bit of applause from some people, sort of politeness. This is sort of the Elfier way. And there's a little bit of talking. And then the first thing Rakub says to you, you see this glow in his eyes that you have never seen. And when he looks at you, he says, like shakes your hand, comes in close, whispers in your ear, Markalik, I'm going to make you the most famous fighter and killer the Spire has ever known. And that's boom, where we're done. Chrysanth. We have a few little, slightly shorter flashbacks here. Chrysanth, you are standing in the pouring rain on the fields of Najab. You've just had yet another unpleasant conversation with Malthus. This is after the bridge was lost. This is after you took this gnoll-like form. This is after things have started getting strange between the two of you. He's not understanding you. And it's not, of course, you can't anticipate at this point spending your nights huddled next to a hyena who reeks of carrion. This is instead this lovely young man who you've come to love deeply during this time in the war. You step out into the rain, soaking you. And you feel next to you a tall figure who's standing in the dark, just getting absolutely soaked, wearing a glistening rainproof coat, a drow with a chiseled jawline, a dour expression, and calculating eyes. Your squad mate, Meridian. He says, do you say anything first, or does he speak first?
I think he speaks first.
Yeah. Meridian says, you're losing him.
Why don't you mind your own business?
I do, but then you end up making your business the whole camp's business. Stomping out here. Is he okay?
Not like he'd tell me. All I'm interested in is violence, according to him, and can't think about the future.
So, what are you interested in, if not violence? Beyond violence?
being important, helping somebody. The violence, we're doing good here. We're serving the people. We're protecting those we love. Is what I need to do.
Is that what you think your part in this is? He points up at the sky and you can see through the clouds, huge airships moving and these sort of bolts, bombs of arcane energy falling and creating these huge blue streaks through the sky. Is that what you think your part in this is? Protection?
I said protecting the people I love. Those gnolls out there, they'd kill the people I love. You telling me they wouldn't?
I'm telling you, the people who are killing the ones you love are the ones sending you out here. Chris, I have said exactly the words you said. I came here for the same reasons you did. Caring about people, wanting to make a difference, wanting to be the one who stepped back, having, conquered the dragon and taken its heart. But you're exactly what they want, Chris. You're trapped in the moment, ready to do whatever they ask because you don't see that this is theater. This is all their creation.
Maybe it's important to know your part, even if it is just theater, okay? I got one thing I'm good at, and I do it.
Yeah. You and me both, I guess.
What you planning on? Defecting, running away? Join the other side?
No. I plan on going home. That's what I plan on.
Just turn away from him.
Yeah.
Keep looking at this guy.
Yeah. And you head back and, we just get a singular flash of the moment of Meridian coming through the swamp, carrying Malthus's dripping head. We jump to Moreau. You have not heard the name. Well, no, you have. In this research, you've heard the name of Nihilus Oak Branch Blooming. But you actually remember when he was a guest at dinner.
Oh, boy. Yes, I do.
It was your first month at Lady Tallow's as her butler. You just inherited the position after serving her mother for many years. And from the second you got into the job, the first whole month was all about that dinner, preparing every detail. Nihilus doesn't come from old money like us, Lady Tallow said. You're standing before this table of flowers, you're deciding on exactly the right colors, and there's 700 shades of red here. You're trying to find exactly the right one. Nihilus comes from ancient money. They say it's dragon money back when there were dragons. Most of that money stays in the frozen lands, but he's the one who came to Spire. A bit of a strange one. You are in the kitchen on the evening of the dinner when you hear glass shattering in the banquet hall. And you hear Tivia, one of the fellow servants, she's a new girl, she's crying out in the banquet hall with the elf going, "Shit, I'm sorry. All the other servants who are back there, they're cutting vegetables, there's conversation, suddenly everything freezes. You are there, you're the new butler. Some of these people have been there longer than you. What do you do?
Fantastic. I will rush out to her, and I will.
She's standing there. You see Nihilus Oak Branch Blooming has stood up from his seat.
No.
She has dropped a glass his front is covered in wine. He's dressed in these strange, ancient-looking garments. He's got this high sort of Elizabethan collar that's splattered with paint. That isn't like the wine. It's like he actually put paint on it as part of some sort of decoration. His clothes look like these like big like carpets covered in like Celtic patterns. He's got these like the boots with the curled toes, like the jester, and he is standing, and she is floating 3 feet off of the floor, writhing in the air. He's looking at Lady Talos, saying, "This is how you let them behave."
And I will engage right here immediately.
Yeah.
And I will grab her. She's 3 feet off of the air.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. You could grab her. Yeah, you could grab her thigh, her belt, her. Yeah, you could get her. Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna grab her belt and I'm gonna pull her down to the floor and backhand her across the face.
Great.
And very quickly and curtly, "I'm so sorry, my lord. She won't trouble you again." And I will grab her and immediately shoo her out and snap to 2 other guards or town folks to grab her and take her away.
Yeah. She gets grabbed. She gets taken. Nihilus has watched all this happen, and sort of puts his fingers over his mouth as he watches you do this. And you've given this very sincere thank you, and he says, "Dismissed. Thank you."
As you wish. And I will go, and this is early in my tenure, but I will look to Lady Tallow for a confirmation that this was all right, if she will give it, and if not.
She looks at you.
Her name here.
Yeah, she looks at you. There's no nod specifically, but you get this you don't have all these micro mannerisms yet, but you have enough of a sense that you're like, okay, we're all right. We're out of the woods. Like it's not ruined. And as you're stepping out, he bursts into laughter, and he goes, "You see them hitting each other." And that's the last you hear of him. Any moment you have with Tithia or any of the other servants,
yes.
Anybody? Yeah.
Yes. God, yes.
Yeah.
I think as I leave, it's with business and whatever, so I'll appoint, whoever the under butler here is to watch over things
He's
for
out.
a minute.
Yep. He's doing it. He's a pro.
And I'll head down to where they took her, likely back to the servants' quarters or whatever.
Yeah, she's just sobbing on the bed. Yeah. And just swearing up a storm.
How long has she been under my employ? And by mine, I mean Lady Talos, of course.
Yes, of course. It's been about 2 weeks. You needed extra staff for this event. She is doing okay. She's sort of needed the numbers.
And great. I will have the 2, if they're there or nearby, whoever I sent her with. Dismiss them to go back with something like, "Well, there's work to be done."
Sorry. And I head up. Yeah.
And I will go into her room or to wherever she's at here.
Yeah. There's like 2 bunks, one for 2 different servants. You're sitting.
A knock on the door, probably.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, and she's come in.
And I'll open it and just come in and quietly close it behind me and stand near the door.
I'm so sorry. I was afraid because I knew he was the one, and I did it so fucking wrong. I'm so sorry.
Stop.
I'm so sorry.
Stop. And I'm going to take my mask off in her presence here. I'm sorry. But if I had not, he surely would have, and something much worse.
Yes, I know. You saved me.
You haven't been here long. I haven't been here much longer, but I've been serving people like them long enough. You must be more careful.
I will.
Good.
He leaps across and hugs you.
I won't return it,
Yeah.
but I will accept it. And I will say, I'm sorry, but we'll have to find you some other house to work in.
Yes. No, I understand. I understand.
We'll find you something good. I can pull some strings perhaps at my
Don't
last.
take any pain for me, Mr. M.
Try to rest. I need to return to the banquet hall.
Yes, of course. Of course.
And I will reaffix my mask, and I will leave.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking back up, I think I stop somewhere halfway up the stairs with like a lean on the wall for just a quarter second.
Yeah.
And like back up into there.
Yeah.
Where I immediately bark at some chef who,
Yes.
or like line cook essentially, whatever.
Yeah, totally. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in. And sort of this like the moment before we cut away is just this moment where everything is lost except the image of your mask.
Yeah.
The bliss. It's cold in Altruin's house a lot. And you sometimes get a visitor in the middle of the night. Clarion comes by. I don't think it's ever been sexual between the two of you, has it?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but he
No.
cuddles with you, definitely. Like he'll sort of hug you for warmth, and yeah, there are moments when you'll sort of spend the night. It only happens a few times. Yeah, sometimes when it's just like a little bit too chilly in Altruin's place. It's morning. The sun comes through the windows. The shades aren't down for whatever reason, and there's just a little slant of sunlight on the far edge of it. He's sitting there, just in like his little night clothes, and his fingertips are creeping towards the sunlight, just a little bit, like getting to the edge, coming back.
Yeah.
Getting to the edge, coming back. What do you do? Anything? Say anything?
I'm sort of waking up. You're playing a game. Come back to bed. We don't have to get up yet.
I couldn't sleep. I just. Do you remember last week when it was just the three of us working until the middle of the night on that piece together? Do you remember the moment where I was up the ladder, and he and I say something. I was talking about the nose, right? I was talking about the bridge of the nose, and he goes, "Do it," and he tosses me the chisel. Boom, and I catch it. You remember that moment?
I remember thinking you were going to make a terrible mistake and we were going to have some noseless creation for the show in 2 weeks.
No, I was gonna be fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Delore, do you ever imagine what it's like to be one of them?
I mean, sometimes. We all do sometimes. I imagine what it would be like to sunbathe, to get a tan,
Right? I feel like they don't do it enough. If I could do it, they'd never do it. Oh, I would be doing it all the time.
Oh, they take it for granted. That's always the way, though.
It's a bit cold. It's a bit cold being in out here. Well, I guess they don't mind it. What do you think's going to happen to the two of us?
I think 2 years' time, we become famous.
Hmm.
5 years' time, we become rich. And 20 years' time, we retire to the peak of the Spire and live out the wildest fantasies.
I like that. As long as there's more art, as long as there's more art, as long as there's more time to come back to this studio.
And as long as there's more time with you, we'll always be friends.
I'm going to hold you to that.
I hope you do. I'm going back to bed. So if you want to
All right.
play around with the sun, go do it in your own quarters.
He jumps off of the bed and into the full sunlight. The sort of like moment of like jumping in the pool, skinny dipping. He's there for 2 seconds.
No.
And jumps back into the bed and grabs you by the shoulders, and boom, we're back in the present. So, Arcolic and Chrysanth, you are standing in this sort of copper sphere. You have Brother Lanyon with you. He's sort of he's agreeable. He's willing. Just before we jump sort of into the montage that gets us there, what's your strategy? Are you in? So you could possibly be that he's just leading you personally and is going to try and sort of talk you in, or you are pretending to be members of the cult who have been drugged. You're like inside the wrappings that are in the cart. What's your move? What's your strategy? So we can assume that everybody's part of this conversation. Everybody's been talking. We're going to assume generally that there are like flashbacks that you can have with each other, assuming that you have made plans together based on certain information. Obviously, certain things we won't be able to have guessed and won't be able to plan, but we'll just sort of decide that in the moment. So we can assume that everyone's into this conversation of strategy and plan here. What you understand is that Brother Lanyon drugs these individuals, takes them somewhere, and that the two of you could get in feasibly. He could convince them of that, and the other two could follow you and potentially get in it by a different way.
I feel like we pretend to have been drugged. We still don't know what the inside, wherever they take us, is like.
Yes.
I feel like it's hard to talk our way through with Brother Lanyon when we don't appear to be the norm of the people showing up.
Yeah, sure.
We're in for a penny and for a pound, so we got to get as deep as we can go before we're found.
Yeah, legit.
Can we ask him like what the effects are of what we would have drunk?
Yeah, absolutely. Kristen, do you have a thought? Did you want to put in before that?
Oh, sorry. We did have some sort of like weird walkie-talkies in an earlier
these like little
situation.
fruits that you can put in. If you can put them in water, you can communicate using them.
I think the Bliss
We
has
can
had a
definitely
little
assume
more
you have them.
time to prepare, and she's pretty handy. Like her endurance was as a builder, so I think she's prepared some kind of walkie-talkie mechanism that her and Mulrow have one end, and Arcolic and Chrysanth have the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's roll an occult to see how effective. Like, I think you've definitely had some time to work on that, so I'll give you mastery with it. So regular die, occult, mastery. Do you have because that occult is a domain, right? And there would
I have the cult, and then my skill is fix.
Great, sure.
Let's
roll all
what
4
I
die.
get from the builder endurance. So
yeah, that's great. No, let's roll all 4 of the dice. See what happens.
So I got 2 9s.
Okay, yeah, it's a
I
pure
got
success.
a 10 too.
Amazing. Yeah.
I saw it and it looked like a 0, but it's not a 0, it's a 10.
It's a 10. Great. So describe the nature of this.
Oh gosh. Okay, yes. I think the Bliss has excitedly given this. Chrysanth and Arcolic are both sort of funny people for this, but she wants it to be like a necklace. Like she wants it to be like kind of like glittery and fun and like shiny, and she's presented it to both Arcolic and Chrysanth as a beautiful addition to your outfit. I just thought it would look really fetching on both of you, either of you, really. And I think it goes around the neck and you can sort of whisper into it. I think it has jewels that operate as buttons, perhaps.
Right. Sure.
And you can sort of press the ruby and
Yeah. Love it. That's
we don't need
fabulous.
any bodily secretions to activate this.
I mean, it's awfully fun if you want to sort of spit shine it every once in a while, get the glitter going, but it is not necessary.
Fabulous. Yeah. So you now all have ways of communicating with each other. Great. And then Jamie, you said that you were asking Brother Lanyon the effects. Brother Lanyon says, I am not, he's sort of in this trance state. I do not create this serum, so I don't know its full effect. I do know that it induces sleep for a certain amount of time, but there are also lasting effects of mild hallucinations and a mild euphoria. And so those who take it will, for at least a week, perceive themselves as being where they're supposed to be. This is the general intent and helps our friends enter the space where they can become purified.
Well, I guess that makes it easy. Just be distant, pretend like we're seeing some shit, and
Yes, that's great. Unless there's any further questions, we're getting you in the cart and getting you going.
yeah, sheets
Yeah.
over the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're just lying down, you're getting in there. So Moreau and the Bliss, you watch as this cart starts to move. Brother Lanyon he's with two other drow of the Purifying Sun who carry the cart. He doesn't do it himself, of course. And you go on a bit of a walk. It's around dawn. All of you are heading upwards through the city. There's a couple of like elevators you have to take, and so like they're like these huge discs that are powered by arcane energy that lift you up. And so Bliss and Moreau, you're able to be at enough distance from the car. There's probably 100 people on this. This is more like a subway than anything, but you head up, blasting through the spire, up higher and higher and higher, and eventually get off at a district you don't know. This is in an area that is beautifully carved, mostly on the exterior. All the drow here are wearing very intensely covering outfits. There's lots of like the big broad brimmed hats and scarves around the face. This looks like there's some construction. This is an area where not a lot of people are actively living. There is a plaza being constructed with a big fountain, beautiful area. And you see at some distance a haze, like this very intense haze that makes it difficult to perceive what is after it. You see beyond you see a sign that has yet to be carved in, but there are some like notices that declare this to be the site of construction of an arboretum. So you head in. So Chrysanth and Arcolic, you are in the cart, rattling along this. Your heads are next to each other. You're both. You can probably see each other through the sheet. Any conversation as you're heading through the district, getting a sense of places? You don't have to. Just
No, I mean,
prompting for any quips. But yeah, you head yourselves inside. You're getting dragged in. It starts to smooth out. You like the drops on the wheel. You get a sense are just like the little gaps of cobblestone. So like this is a beautifully laid area. And Moreau and the Bliss, you can see this as they head through the haze. There's a gateway there, and it looks like there's a lot of drow who are actively working here, but the place is so remote and so rarely accessed that it doesn't look like there's active security on this end. There's no guards watching the outside of it. In fact, as you step in, it's a construction zone. There are dozens of huge wooden crates, which one of them you see is open, and it's filled with packed slats of reinforced arcane glass that would take a great deal of force to shatter. And you also see some big steel girders, and you can also see before you the Immaculate Arboretum. This is a structure, a huge vertical structure of like this beautiful botanical garden, but imagine it built sideways onto the side of the giant tower of the spire. It stretches up to some distance. You can't see exactly where it goes, partially because you're obscured by all the construction material. The two of you can sneak in easily and hide behind a couple of crates as Lanyon and these two others approach a large, beautiful silver door that sort of unfolds before them, the steel bending in ways that steel shouldn't be able to, as if it's a serpent. And eventually the no one like turns and opens the door, it just sort of moves away, and then Lanium steps inside. It closes, and you find yourselves Arcolic and Chrysanth, you find yourselves in a space where you feel the wheels of the cart go onto what feels like grass, and you can feel a little bit of like light coming through shades around you. Hard to tell exactly what else is going on, but you begin to hear some conversation. You hear, give me a second here. You hear another door open, and then you hear two figures stepping in, and trying to figure out, well, let's say through like a slat in the side of the cart, you're able to see the white boots of Ningati armor. So there are two of these secret police here, and you hear Brother Lanyon fall to his knees as a little arcane intercom crackles to life, and a voice says, "More devotees, Brother Lanyon?" Brother Lanyon says, "My lord, as devoted as they come. We expect no less. Ever since that mess with Rosin Dracker, we can take no risks." Says, "I'm sorry, Lord Nihilus. I did not examine his soul penitently enough." The voice asks, "And is that your weakness, Lanyon? Is that what you'll confess in your little meeting tomorrow?" "I shall, my lord. And you'll say an extra prayer of penitence or two while you stand in the sun." "Yes, my lord." Nihilus laughs openly at him, says, "Very well then, I have things to do. You may leave them here, Lanyon." Brother, unless you have given, so let's assume that you're aware of this general format. Is this, the instruction you would have given Brother Lanyon that he would leave after this moment?
I don't have anything else to do with him.
Cool.
Unless either Bliss or Mulrow want to nab him afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we can assume we talked about this, maybe?
Don't want him gabbing. I mean...
Yeah, I
true.
mean,
That's what I think.
He deserves it, but as a security measure, he needs to be silenced.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'll do it.
Great.
Oh, silence.
So, Brother Lanyon leaves you in the room with his Ningati. He steps out in his robe. He's looking sort of confused, and may have been given instruction by you to, after he dropped you off, to go
Meet
ahead,
with
Jim.
me?
Yeah, go find.
Perfect.
Yeah. He's
Go find our friend. He means you well.
Yeah. Sort of walks up to you at the edge. Like there's this construction zone, and then there's an edge that face like with a small little construction area railing that just drops off. So Moreau, you were standing there, and Brother Lanyon, the bishop, approaches you and says, you can sense him being a little bit confused, like it's maybe starting to wear off. And he goes, "I was told to approach you, though I don't know to think we've met ever."
We haven't. And I'll just... let's just do it. I'm going to grab him and throw him over the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to make noise, so I'm not shooting my pistol.
Yeah, sure.
That's kind of the feeling. And so I just want to go, "We haven't." And let me just grab the meat of his shoulder, just like as like a friendly gesture.
Yeah, good. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And then just like, boom, boom, try to just give him a big old shove-o.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And like his final sort of moment is you're grabbing him, and there's just this single moment of him standing before you, looking up, staring directly into the sun, as boom, he gets shoved off of the edge and falls. Too shocked to really take the chance to cry out until he's far below, and the shouts wouldn't be associated with this place. The Bliss, you're nearby. What do you see? How do you react to this?
I never liked that part of the plan.
It's a necessary one, though.
Revolution is worth fighting if all these people have to die.
Revolution.
I mean, but can't it be nice? Beautiful?
I'm not exactly sure that's how this is going to go. But I will say, it seems refreshing to hear you actually say it. So you're a rebel then?
I've always been a rebel, an aesthetic rebel, but
Sorry, no, a revolutionary. You'd like to see it burn.
I think so.
Listen. All the things that we will do, that we will regret, that we will have to live with, will be nothing compared to what they have done to us. Okay? Nothing.
And then she'll sort of turn back to staking out the garden where
The Arboretum. Yeah.
the arboretum. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moreau looks down and has ripped a piece of this robe on a construction piece. Oh, shit. And you wouldn't happen to have brought points down at the tear. Anything?
Oh, always. And she probably actually does carry like supplies around with her, at least a
Sure.
sewing needle.
Just something,
she'll-
yeah. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll
Cool.
crouch and fix it up for him. I think she's wearing, just because I want to always describe her outfits and I keep forgetting, but she's
Please.
wearing like a big tutu with a big ruffle and sort of a hood attached to it.
Incredible.
Why are you staking out with me? I am so low key. Oh my gosh.
She has her like glamour magic. People get
Sure.
magnetized to her, but people also slide their eyes right off sometimes.
And perhaps there's times where we're playing little scenes of, Mulrow will play the part of whoever, an admirer or a agent, or it just, as we've been in different parts of town where it's behooved us to put little things probably, but glad we fixed that up. I imagine it got ripped during the, maybe there was a small little business.
Yeah, I love that. So the two of you look up at the Arboretum, you see these crates nearby, and get the sense that if you climbed up a little ways on this construction stuff, you might be able to find some sort of openable window with a latch that you could get your way in.
Wow. Shall we? It might be fun. Come on.
Fine.
And you start clambering up.
Well,
Meanwhile,
well,
in no,
Sorry, I was gonna say, for it's not quick, it's not slow. It's just
Yeah.
This is not.
Yep, totally.
I don't think the Bliss is graceful, but she's eager and kind of
Yeah.
makes up for her lack of. Well, I don't know if she's not graceful, but she's not like a climber.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, she's
She
not
scrambles up.
Yeah, the two of you just making your way up. Meanwhile, inside this front space, Arcolic and Chrysanth, these two figures who came in are approaching the cart. They're gonna open it up. What's your plan? Are you're heading in? Because I guess one of my questions is, do you have equipment? Because probably what Brother Lanyon would have dressed you in is like white jumpsuits.
Hmm. I'm okay with no equipment. I'll just put it out there.
Sure.
I
I
am
got
also
2 pieces of equipment right here.
Yeah.
with the advancements
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
gotten. I'm also okay with that equipment. Although I probably would appreciate it if maybe our friends brought along some of our equipment.
Yes, there is
later on in the
besides
fight.
the Bliss
Yeah.
and Mulrow, a little hopping hyena who is just following the Bliss as she gives him treats, I assume. Cool. So yeah, you have a hyena.
If I knew you guys were going to be climbing if I knew you guys were going to be climbing, I might have told the Bliss, like, so this is his backpack. He doesn't go up vertical very well, so you gotta put
No,
him in
you
it,
told us.
and
Yeah, you told us
stays
about
pretty-
this.
Yeah.
Hoist him up.
Yeah. Little pulley system. Yeah, amazing.
What, do his little arms dangle out?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and he's a little bit. You hear him just make a little moan of like I'm not sure about this.
I was badass earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, cute little bloodthirsty hyena. Yeah, and as Kate points out, you probably have a couple of fingers in a bag in case you need them for treats. So then Arcolic and Chrysanthi, you are uncovered by these helmeted, armored. So they look. So then you've encountered a soldier of the Ningati, the secret police. What they wear is a traditional Elfir armor from like ancient battles. This armor is clearly a sibling of that. These are not probably direct agents of the Ningati, but perhaps trained in the same way from a similar order. But they're elite Elfir soldiers. They have weapons at their side. Probably Brother Lanium told you that the guards that he knows that the guards carry weapons, though he didn't tell you that a whole lot of what he knew of what goes on inside.
I mean, I'll just say for
Yeah.
coordination here.
Yeah.
My plan is to let them take us as far as they would normally take people.
Yeah.
Until we feel threatened. So I don't see us doing like a leaping out and taking down the soldiers. I mean, if they'll wheel us, let them wheel us.
I'm also playing along until we are not realistically going to be able to anymore.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So you get taken away, and over the course of probably about 30 minutes, you get the cart is left behind. You get carried bodily in. You're like probably regulating your breath, trying to make it appear that you're still asleep. You get brought in, undressed temporarily, and some other figures examine, do an examination on you physically. Like there's the tapping on your sternum, all of the sort of medical examination, opening up your mouth. Yeah.
Now you're making me giggle because I'm thinking about that thing they do on your abdomen.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's gonna be pretty hard to keep up the impression that we're unconscious, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah, I think that is pretty challenging. You could let's each make a roll to try and conceal that. Using whatever method you would like. I don't think you can do a high society concealment. I happen to be weak.
Could I do an occult thing? I know there's like a specific feature that I did not choose where the executioners can make themselves as though dead.
Oh yeah, that is such a cool feature.
It seems like that would have been a good choice. But
let's roll the baby version of that. So you don't get it for free, but you can roll to
Is occult okay?
Yep.
Maybe I've done some sort of like Witcher-like charm, like pseudo magic.
Sure.
That just slows our breath unnaturally.
Cool. I dig it. Yeah, I love that.
And then deceive.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. That's fabulous.
Deceive,
yeah. And then what are you rolling there, Jamie?
I assume deceive. I feel like I have one in sneak, but I don't think that this is really we're not sneaking in. We are sneaking in, but we're lying to sneak in, kind of. But I wonder if I could push religion in some way, just because we are like.
I would keep sneak. I think that's fine. I think that's viable in this situation. You're trying to physically. I don't know, physically control your body. I think that's fine. Okay, yeah, I think that's legit. Roll it.
All right, then I will take sneak.
Cool.
It's a 9 for Arcolic.
Great, fabulous.
10.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. These investigators are not looking for. They're so used to expecting the idea that they're not particularly discerning when it comes to detecting you. And so the two of you are dressed back in your clothes, brought into another room and sort of laid down, and you find yourselves sometime later, just a little bit later, opening your eyes and seeing that there are other people in these sort of white, like half robes, half jumpsuits, who are in this room with you, who are all bearing the Purifying Sun tattoo on the back of their necks. With that, we'll take our break and come back in a few minutes, except for the fact that Carson is in the bathroom. So I'm realizing maybe he will have to, he's going to be the one who has to take us to the break. So, because he already went and did his little break. Yeah, vamping. So what I'll say is, Moreau and the Bliss. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. Thank you, Carson. You're the best. Take us to a break. We will all be back.
What a cliffhanger.
What a cliffhanger. We'll see you very soon. Hello, and welcome back to You Will Be Ashes. Ruh-roh. Moreau and the Bliss, you are climbing up the outside of this huge, beautiful, geometric botanical garden called the Arboretum, specifically the Immaculate Arboretum. This built metal, like it's a beautiful silver and arcane glass. You're climbing up the outside. The hyena on your back is sort of growling a little bit in confusion at why he's being lifted up so far. But you are just now reaching a pinnacle and a small open window, a single spot. Each of you, let's roll to see if anybody detects you as you are heading up along the outside.
Okay.
Yeah. What you gonna roll? So you get a regular D10 plus what?
Sneak.
Great.
I do not have sneak. Would this still be a cult because we're dealing with a cult?
I don't think so. I think climbing on a window doesn't necessarily invoke cult powers.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you just do a flat one die. See how it goes. How'd we do, everybody?
I got a 9.
Okay.
6.
Okay, 6. So you succeed, but take a little bit of stress. So I'm going to roll that for you, the Bliss. You are going to take... interesting. You're going to take 2 shadow stress. And I'm going to roll and see how that goes for you. All right. You are fine for now, but feeling pretty stressed as far as your shadow goes.
Yeah. I mean, this is my fault for wearing like a tutu.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the story, is I just like can't bring myself to dress at all appropriately for a stakeout, so I keep getting noticed.
Actually, Kristen, I'm gonna be honest. I lied about your fallout.
Oh,
I rolled a 2. You did get fallout. So
why'd you lie?
Because I wanted to be nice to you, but now I have a good idea of how to make it
The
better.
fudger.
I'm a fudger, man.
I'm gonna die.
So your shadow stress is cleared, but you gain the fallout watched. At any point from now until the end of the next session, I can decide that someone tailing you watches you perform an action. I can tell you which action if I wish. This will come back to haunt you before long. In this moment, you feel this. There's this moment where you look up higher into the Arboretum and wonder if someone has spotted you, and nothing happens. And so you're like, okay, I think we're okay. And the 2 of you step forward and fall, climb down into a little herb garden. So this whole botanical garden into which you have stepped would normally be open to the sunlight and would be extremely hostile to drow. But almost all of the covers of glass have been covered with shading, similar to the shading that you saw in Alshruin's home, the Bliss. So this is, temporarily protected for you. You step inside this place that's a little humid. There's some plants growing here. You see that this window has been kept open to allow these plants to thrive. And you see that they're labeled. This is a little bit of a sort of alchemical station where individuals who work at this location will, it seems, concoct little potions to give to the inhabitants of this, of the Immaculate Arboretum. The two of you have just gotten inside when the handle of the door starts to, as someone is trying to get inside. They are not yet. They're waiting right out there. The place it appears to be locked temporarily, but you hear a jangle of keys.
The two of us are here.
Yeah, you are inside this little thing, and there's someone about to get inside.
Is there anywhere to hide, like under, like under a big pot?
There's the space is big enough, and there's actually just like some openings right on either side of the door that you can step into. So both of you get around the side and vanish as the door, just in time as the door opens. And the Bliss, for just a moment, you are seeing a little bit double. A perfect servant's mask steps inside. They're wearing a long white robe, but this is a drow who is wearing the exact same kind of mask that Admiral Road wears. They step in. This is an elderly woman. She comes inside and closes the door behind her, just happening to not look in the directions that you all are headed. And she steps forward and starts muttering to herself about aloe and moon honey and a few other things.
Aloe and moon honey.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Watching for a bit. How long is she harvesting? What do we got going on here?
It looks like she's fine. She's not
through.
Yeah, she's not harvesting the actual plants, but it looks like she's taking some like distilled stuff and starting to make she's trying to make a small a burn treatment cream.
Is there like an alembic that she's working at the station? Yeah,
there's a station. There's like all at the far end of the room that you like when you stepped down, you had to avoid like cracking some of this alchemy equipment.
Right. Okay. And
there's the kind of process that you sense is going to take a couple minutes. She's not currently looking at either of you.
One way in, one way out.
One way in, one way out. Except for
we get out,
I guess.
The door that she came through. I mean,
if
if her back is turned to it, I think I will signal and ask the Bliss to boogie. Boy, should have taken another a different advancement here, but this will do.
You also are able to note like the simplicity of the garment that the servants wear, and if you were to get a hold of these, you would blend right in, Mora.
Well, yes, I'm thinking of the same thing, but I'm not going to clonk an old lady on the head, especially noting these robes. They seem associated with this cult. Probably it's not typical of a servant of a house necessarily.
Yeah, it's not a house servant. It doesn't. You're not able to clock it with a house. Yeah.
Sure, great, fantastic. I want to find some of those, and there's none on the way out.
Yeah. So you step out of the room, and you're in a larger hallway, sort of stretching around, and you can see down below, like a couple levels below, like balconies, you can see a sort of arboretum. This place used to hold a lot of, or has been prepared to hold a lot of trees. It looks like the only actual trees that are here are what Elfir would like as far as trees go, which is basically ice sculptures that look like trees. So they're, or like marble statues that look like trees with like hanging crystals as leaves. And so there are some patches of actual grass, but that's as far as plants go in this place for real. You also see down below, milling in this area, are people in white robes. You see many of them have the tattoo of the purifying sun on the back of their necks. They're being guided around by these masked figures if they're walking, but you also see through, down through glass, you see what look like holding chambers for some of them, where they are all sitting together. And then in the far distance, you can see down far the hallway. There's like up some stairs where they would have come from this resting area. You see a shade being opened, and a person wearing a white robe standing in front of the sun, and like hear a muffled cry of pain.
Muffled like okay, it's not surprised, and it's not like
you're at a distance. Yeah, no, muffled like you're at a distance from them. Yeah,
Okay.
they look to be, and they look to not be chained or rode. Like basically, you can see it's pretty far down, but
Okay.
it looks like someone is basically accepting a sun treatment of some kind.
Great. And can I just do a quick look around as well for any sort of like robe room? You know, where's the locker room for the staff?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah. So the two of you are still looking around, sneaking, seeing some other rooms nearby. Eventually, step down a little bit of a ways, and you see like some writing in like a drow, sort of like leaving a note saying, make sure that you're not carrying anything in your pockets, so that none of the patients none of the devotees they actually use can access anything from the outside. And this is written in an elfier hand towards these drow. You
Sure.
open it up. Step inside, and there is a drow man in a mask who looks at you and says, "Who are you? What are you doing here?"
I've forgotten my robe. I'm afraid.
You came without your robe. How did you get inside?
It was honestly, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I may be under the influence.
Roll your deceive. Let's see how this goes.
Okay. He's a servant drow?
Servant drow. Yep.
Then I'll add
You get mastery. Yep.
I'll take a 9.
Amazing. I guess he's not seeing the woman in the tutu in the hood.
Well, I think I'm waiting just outside the door with Malthus, because Malthus is a little hard to...
Yeah, also.
So I've set Malthus down from the backpack, and I'm feeding him some fingers and sort of like, shh, wait. Daddy will be back soon.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, and you, he goes, "What are you doing here? We are being paid far too much for you to be this careless. I can't believe this."
I know. I would appreciate your confidence on this matter. I promise it would not happen again.
They tell me my shift are careless, but surely. And he turns around and lets you in, and gets you. You have a moment where you could grab your coat.
I'm grabbing 2.
Yep. There's also a moment of him being, a moment where he's sort of not paying attention to you, not looking at you, a little vulnerable. If you want to try and take him out.
Well, let me grab these 2 robes, and while he's doing that, yeah, I'm going to, yes, I will do this, but more flavorful. Can I ask him to just, oh, sorry, really is just one more thing. Could you look outside to see if the woman followed me?
What? And he like sort of cries out a little bit in confusion, looks out the doorway, sees her, boom, and goes, like, just in time for him to like his eyes through the mask to see the bliss. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, just as a flavor of like more. I need the distraction to.
Yeah.
If it's safe enough to say to put him down.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm gonna with just a couple of these actions here, I'm just gonna say we have 2 clocks that are actively working here. I know this is a mechanic from a different game, but we're putting it in here. So the 2 clocks are a contaminant in the Arboretum, which is a clock tracking whether Moreau and the Bliss have been detected. And the other is Heresy Revealed, which is to track if Chrysanth and Arcolic have maintained their cover. Those are each 4-part clocks. And so I'm going to put 1 into a contaminant from the cry of him going, "What?" As this moment happens.
Oh, great. Yeah. Flavors it up, gets punished. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm taking it.
No, it's all right. Can we have like a quick flashback where we're imagining the potentials of what could happen in here, everybody, really fast?
Everyone's together in the group.
Yeah, just as we're planning this thing out. And once we're inside, should we become separated? What is our... What should we come find you? Should we... I think that's the question. I have
I mean,
is
we-
find information independently.
We do have the necklaces.
Yes.
Of course, we should
Yes,
communicate.
find us, but as important as that would be make a path. We're termites burrowing into this tree. Let's get as far as we can before we meet up again.
Right, make a path.
And the dog, like how do we make our sweet puppy blend in?
Yes.
Oh,
The
Did
dog.
you did
Jamie,
you want
you're
to
muted. Sorry, Jamie was gonna say something.
If you tell him to find a corner or something, he not to go it, but just
That'll keep him busy for
Yeah.
good 40 minutes.
Is that his
Maybe put
coffee
some
and his
peanut
bran
butter
muffin
around
here?
the finger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find a corner,
Mm.
and we could signal him should we need. I must say, Arcolic, I'm not gifted in the ways of combat as either of you two are, sure. As maybe a distracted person or somebody susceptible to a suggestion, yes, but the dog could help. Does it respond to a particular call or whistle?
Yeah,
Or
you say sick him. Usually I say sick him, but you get a little blood in the air, and he's probably gonna want to taste. So
Oh. Good.
Oh,
he's good. He's good at reading energy. Like you gotta, if you have good vibes around him, he's not gonna nip. But if he senses that there's aggression, you know,
Of course.
Amazing.
All right. Thank you.
Meanwhile, back down in the sort of the rooms, you, Chrysanth, and Arcolic find yourselves in the company of several men, all pretty strong-looking men. None of them you recognize from your time in the Purifying Sun, but they appear, they give off the vibe. And one of them sort of looks at you and says, "They're awake. They're awake faster than normal. That's strange." And one of them says, No, brother. Time passes differently for us here. They've slept a long time. I know. I can tell. And they look down. One of them cups Chrysanth's face. Reaches down Chrysanth's cups your face in his hands and says, Welcome to the other side, brother."
thank you, brother. It's beautiful.
Grabs your hand, lifts you up. Steady now. Steady. You're gonna feel strange for a little while, but
Where are we?
the others awake too, brother. Look, they come and sort of help you up and say, "You're on the other side. What Brother Lanium gave you, he gave to all of us, and now we're passing through the veil, through a spiritual path that will bring us to true purification."
So we wait.
Yes. Well, sometimes they'll take you up to the chamber. You know that, of course. You know what it's like to step into the sun and face your weakness. But then you see one of them who sort of like looks a little older, and there's a little bit of a look in his eye, a little bit uncertain. He's got like some pretty intense sun scorch marks on his face. He says, "We wait," and then he looks towards this big open area, up some stairs, grassy. There's a beautiful ice tree in front of it, and beyond that, there's a silver door. And he says, "When you're pure enough, you'll pass through the door, and you won't come back."
So
How long have you been here?
One of the ones who's holding you says, "Oh, I've been here. We don't understand time truly. There's something about the place that changes us, but it feels like a few weeks at this point." And the man with the sort of the strange look says, "A few months for me now." And there's a couple, like all of them are sort of interacting with each other in this peaceful way, but there's a couple of eyes of some others who have like come closer now that they've seen that you joined the group. And there's some looks that are a little bit less peaceful, a little bit less happy. And one calls out and says, what was it like? What was it like before you came? Well, what did Brother Lanyon say to you?
He told us that we were going to make ourselves stronger, a better version of ourselves, that we can become something else that's more pure.
Yeah, and a couple of them look at you and say, "You're already on your way, brother. They'll probably take you through the silver door soon." Looking at your different sort of ivory dry skin tone.
Okay, asshole. No. And drinking game continues. I'll look at the one who's been here months and is really looking worn down,
Yeah.
and any others who are kind of looking a little weak, and I'll say, "Is the pain worth it?" And I'll kind of like take kind of a panicked stance.
Yeah.
Like, this must be agony to wait for months. Can we do such a thing?
Yeah, that one, the bigger, like scarred man comes over to you, grabs your hand and says loudly for everyone, he says, you barely feel the pain after long enough. And he leans close to you and says, "Careful how loudly you ask questions."
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And he says, "Find a place and we can talk later."
All right. Good. I won't
Yeah.
respond. I'll just
Cool.
nod.
Yeah. So we kind of enter a little bit of a montage. So like a sort of montage space. So Mulroe and the Bliss, you are now robed up. There's a dog hiding under some clothes in the jacket closet. Yeah.
Can I just note that I have I think I've pulled like a drawstring in the tutu and in the big ruffle, and they've kind of collapsed around me, so the tutu becomes a skirt, and the robe has gone on top of my current outfit. That'll be important.
Yeah. Yes.
Potentially
Yeah.
later.
You're set up for a future. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's a little bit of a like a little bulk in that robe, just of some hidden stuff underneath. But yeah, the two of you, you take a little servant's mask from the fallen person, the Bliss probably, and the two of you have access to sort of wander the space and see other people who are working. And there's like the woman who comes out of the alchemy thing, sort of nods to you and says, "Greetings, brother, sister."
Greetings. Yes.
Greetings, sister.
Yes. And they're sort of moving around. You see them all moving around, tending to these people. So the vibe you get of the space is that these the devotees have general access to roam throughout this level of the Arboretum, as long as they have, and they can be alone as long as they have a chaperone with them. So it's a little bit hard to be totally private, but they're moving throughout. You see there's a moment where like a bell chimes and there's like a service, like an 11 a.m. service where people get together and there's prayers that are gathered as a group. And some of the mostly men who are here are praying, and others are sort of like crying to themselves. And there's a lot of sort of suppressed feeling and stuff here. And then of course everything centers around this icy tree and the silver door that has yet to open. You see, you probably saw early on the Ningati who brought you in stepped through the silver door and disappeared. So yeah.
I'll turn to Merlero. If Altruin's here, he's probably in the upper levels, the meeting rooms. He's a man of importance. And I think he'll help me.
That could be a great risk.
We were friends once. I think he still cares. And I'm gonna look to, okay, so there's the silver door by the tree.
Yeah.
Are there other doors? Are there other
other ways, sort of up
Yeah.
into further places?
Yeah, like up, further in.
Yeah. The silver door appears to be the main way in. You do sense as you're sort of walking around the servants' places, there is another higher silver door that's a little bit concealed back in some of the sort of the staff area. But when you get close, a couple of the other servants sort of, they're not like manning it, but they're sort of like, oh, come this way, help me with something. They sort of pull you away from it. But there's potentially another way in.
Yeah, I'd also like to note those, like any layout.
And the way that you
notes.
sense the door works is that a couple of staff will pass by them and nothing happens, but you see the Ningati as they, like, one of them comes back through again and just sort of does a little bit of patrol, and you see that he has a silver like floating orb that like looks, sort of spins out into little bits of metal, and so he seems to interact with the door like a key, and helps him pass through.
Gotta get one of those.
Are the chaperones other drow servants, or is it just we have to be with other devotees at all times?
There are other, primarily it's chaperones, though sometimes there are chaperones who will go with a large group of like up to six people who will be like, oh, can we go up to the amethyst garden where there's like 3 trees that are made completely out of amethyst, and so like people sort of wander around there. Like a single chaperone can watch a number of people, which means you could potentially have a private conversation there.
Okay.
If we're sort of sharing the spotlight here, I'd like to use one of my abilities.
Cool.
Yeah.
Which is Corpse Finder General. Second time I've used this. I'd like to find a body.
Oh my god.
You tell me where and who.
Oh gosh. Okay.
I love these powers because they're like, and think of that.
Yeah, it's really amazing. It's so cool.
I love it.
One thing that punctuates the experience here in this very peaceful seeming place, that sometimes rings with like little sounds of crystal, like a wind chime that's huge and slow. The other thing that punctuates it is the sound of pain, screams of pain. Usually muffled, but usually from these sun chambers where certain people will just be like, it is your time, brother, and they'll come and take in some of this. And you'll see many of them will come back pulling down the sleeves of their white robes to cover their sleeves. And so one of these moments, you and like maybe Moreau is able to become your chaperone, and the two of you see as a figure is brought out of one of these sun chambers. And one of the servants comes up to Moreau and says, "We could use your help. Please return to the amethyst garden," gesturing to you, Arcolic.
Yes.
Yep. So you come in and they take this body with you. Arcolic, you can do a little fake out and
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, great. So they come in and you hear them. Moreau, they're talking to you, and the old woman, the Hogwarts, says, he just wasn't ready. He was it was too much for him. We used the aloe and the moon honey, but he's currently not, his heart isn't beating currently, but we think if we bring him upstairs, we might be able to get his heart started again. We might be able to move him on.
Oh, we sure. It seems perhaps he was not devoted enough.
And there's a little bit of like, not like pious responses, but a little bit of like, not giggles, but sort of like dark chuckles from the other servants. Who say, yeah, but yeah, they sort of start bringing him back, like treating him a little bit, and you see them make like a call on a silver bell that you can hear reverberating sort of like upward, as if it's making a call up to the upper floors.
In like eavesdropping on this,
yeah,
is there anything distinctive about the body?
The body is a young man who, there's a moment when the sheet gets pulled back, and you see that this is a young man named Koro, who you developed a friendship with when you were in the Purifying Sun. He had gotten to know you through a breakup that he had had. He's sort of young, a little bit frail, not physically super very strong. But yeah, this is a familiar person to you, and he looks dead.
Okay.
You asked for this body, by the way.
Yeah. I killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, not my fault at all. I'm just responding to what you say.
Is he unattended other than by Monroe for a moment, or are they pretty?
Sure. Yeah. There's a moment where they're all heading, like they're trying to like bring a car around so they can get into the other silver door. Oops.
Sorry, what do the servants refer to devotees as to their face? Do they address them?
They call them devotee, like devotee. Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Mulro will do that with a Lando Calrissian style acknowledgement.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, calls them forth.
I want to move up and get a lock of. You said it was Koro.
Koro, Koro. Yeah.
Koro's hair.
Great. Yeah, you're able to get it easily.
Okay.
There's a little
I'll get
knife
that.
beside the bed, yeah.
And I'll just briefly put 3 fingers on his forehead, in sort of a sign of respect.
Yeah.
This is someone I knew. That's unpleasant.
Yeah.
Didn't deserve. I'll look up at Monroe and say, "You didn't deserve this." And then I'll quickly kind of trot back to where the rest of the group is. Several people might be congregated.
Yeah. So as you're having this interaction, Chrysanth, the big man with the really scarred face, pulls you aside as a group. He says, "Y'all didn't sleep very long."
Well, I've had my fair share of druggings in my past, I'm ashamed to say.
Sure. And I've seen my fair share of lies, especially in the last few months. What's your plan? What are you doing here?
I'm here to be pure. To cast off my weakness, of course. Whatever form that might be. What are you doing here?
That's what I came here. That's what I came here for. But I'm afraid there's no such fucking thing.
No such thing as turning into an elf here?
I don't know. If there is, I haven't seen it. I've seen... We never hear what happens to the people who go up. We never know anything about it. If there was some success story, you'd think they want to show it to us, wouldn't they?
Yeah, you'd think so.
I understand you and your friend. I don't know. Maybe this is taken. Maybe I'm crazy. I've been trying to keep them from giving me this stuff. I haven't drunk anything in days. It's everything they give to us has it in it. But look, if you were trying to do something, let me help.
You're one person. What can you do?
I don't know. Cause a distraction. Cause trouble. Maybe there's a few others. I think it's hard to tell. You can't say anything unorthodox in here. When people notice, you get extra doses. You fall asleep for a week. But if we can, I think there might be others who would want to help. We can make a convincing show of it. Get to the upper level.
How often do they open that door?
It's every hour.
If what you're saying about me and my friend is true, then yes, there might be something we could do.
You give me the signal when you're ready.
All right.
And he steps away.
It's
Oh, sorry. Unless you have something to say to him.
probably going to be something loud, just to warn you.
All right. Fine.
If I can
So y'all have
relay this.
Yeah, you have
Yeah.
all the chance to communicate everything you've just learned to each other.
Have I seen any weapons around on anyone, or
Yeah, the Ningati carry weapons, and the servants carry a little weapon that's sort of like a taser, but it's this arcane thing that that generates a beam of sunlight.
jeez?
Yeah.
Okay. Ningati do they go alone, in pairs?
It's usually
frequently?
2 at a time. Usually two at a
Okay.
time, once every hour. Come down and do an inspection for about 15 minutes, then they're gone for 45.
Okay.
They'll probably split up during the thing. Yeah.
Chrysanth, I think what we are going to need to do is make a rush for the Silver Door. But before we do that, I need a blade, and we need to get most of the devotees who won't help us away. So maybe we initiate some kind of group prayer deeper in the Arboretum, and have our friends hold them up.
Are you including all 4 of us in this conversation?
Yeah, maybe I'm talking
We're
like
holding,
in Chrysanth's presence, but I have the water
The next
And I'm going, "Boop, boop."
necklace thing.
I'm licking the necklace. No.
Keep it wet. Keep it wet.
I might be able to help with the devotees. I might be able to convince them of helping them, or at least instill the idea that they're wrong to be here. Doubt can be a powerful tool.
You might save their lives. If any of us are meant to be saved.
I wonder if there's a way. There's a friend who talked to me about not trusting the process, but even those who are faithful could get impatient, maybe be driven to rush the door as well. If there's any way we could make them desperate for their purification faster than the other ways would be.
And they're all drugged, right?
To different degrees.
In sort of a like a downer situation. This isn't the same stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of calming agents that make everyone a little bit happier, a little bit less aware of time, and other things that would make it easy for them to perceive the situation. But they're lucid as far as ideas and expression go. Like, they can understand what you're saying.
Sure.
Has anyone seen
Unless
Has anyone seen if the Ningati carry keys? Are the silver doors locked?
They carry a key that they like an orb that uses sort of a
Good.
key effect, an arcane key effect. Yeah, and they.
So I can get a blade and I can get us a key, assuming we succeed.
Yeah, your new friend
But
Grant probably hooks you up with basically a shiv, a slab of of steel that he's been sharpening for, not steel, but like some softer metal that he's been sharpening for some time.
Okay.
For a case like this, so it's basically a D3 dagger.
Let me talk to them. Do you trust me?
Is there?
yes, of course.
Mulro, do you trust me?
yes.
Okay. Can I go ahead and do this then?
Yes, you can go ahead and do this then.
Okay, so I want to time this. I don't mean to rush us. We can go
No,
back if we need to, but I want to time this so that it happens sort of before the Nagati come out, but they're about to come out. We've maybe made sure that have established the pattern. And now I'm going to step forward by the silver tree. I'm going to remove the outer robe. And below I still have my outfit. I told you it would be important, and it is, because I'm going to reinflate the ruffle and the tutu, and then I'm going to yell out, friends, attend to me, and then I'll pull like drawstrings. And as I do, what I'm doing is I'm performing an art piece, but the art piece is sort of going to expand around me. Yeah. And as I pull the different strings, different things start kind of inflating around me, like ruffles are suddenly winging outwards, hinging outwards, and growing up top me. And there's sort of glittering, and there's mirrors that are flipping over and atop. And it's a little hard to totally make out what is happening, but it's mesmerizing. Yeah. And at first it's sort of abstract image, and it seems like it can't get bigger, and it does. Like I keep pulling these strings and it keeps ballooning around me, and there's abstract shapes sort of spinning. It's sort of like the moth wings in China Miéville's Perdita Street Station, right? Like you can't tear your eyes away from it. And suddenly there's faces of drow within the wings. There's Elfir like stomping down, and it all flashes kind of quickly. And you could say in this moment that beauty, because this performance is beautiful, is truth. Beauty is truth. I perform a compel and occult check as I perform the art, and if I'm successful, a suggestion is implanted in their minds. And the suggestion that I would like to implant in their minds is the idea that the drow are not cursed, but blessed, and that the Elfir are wrong. Yeah. I'm going to roll.
Take a mastery for that.
Oh.
Do it. Take a mastery. Roll 4 dice.
Okay, compel, occult.
Let my people go.
Yes.
That's a 10.
Woo!
Yeah. Can I say one more detail?
Yes.
I wasn't gonna do it unless I got like a high number.
Yeah.
But it's like ballooning out. It's beautiful. And then there's a moment where everything drops. Like this whole huge thing just drops. And for the first time that any of my friends have seen, I take off the mask, and I am just there as the bliss, and I step out of like this cloth around me. I'm not nude, but I'm wearing very simple black leotard kind of thing. Yeah. And I'll just say, friends, there is nothing wrong with us. We are beautiful. And Ted, if it's not too much, can I do 2 abilities at the same time?
Do what's the other one? Do it.
I'll roll for it.
Yeah,
I would like to. So I've done the suggestions implanted in their mind.
Yes.
Which is a medium advance, and then I'd like to instill emotions. When I succeed at a compel and occult check when performing art, I can drive a receptive crowd into
one of the following. Oh my god.
One of the following. I think I'm deciding on.
Yes.
It's either debauched excess or mind-numbing ecstasy.
Yeah.
Oh, how could you choose?
Those are both good, right?
Those are great. Yeah.
Also, can I also say, Ted, if it's okay, Moreau is moved by this performance art, so the bliss's stress can be.
Roll a
d6.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's what he was doing. Yeah.
First, I just thought you were being nice to me as a role-playing thing.
No, Moreau sees this and is legitimately shocked at what he's seeing, and
Yeah.
you know, sort of is
Yeah.
taken aback by this whole thing and is brought back to it by whatever. But it's like
Yeah.
it's a beautiful art, but then it's the message that goes, oh
Yeah.
damn, yeah.
Yeah. We're blessed.
I rolled a 3, so I can take off.
3 stress. Yeah.
Okay.
Which in this case, that takes away your 2 blood, and I think you're clear because your shadow
Yeah.
is already cleared by taking the thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
You're fully good. You feel great. You feel empowered. So as you gathered together for this performance, you were a little bit primed by our new friend Grant, who was like gathering them to talk to you. A couple of servants immediately, as you start doing it, they're like, "What's going on? What's happening?" And maybe like Moreau is sort of pushing some people back, causing some trouble,
Yes.
making it hard for people to get down there.
100%.
Yeah, and then like Chrysanth and Arcolic are prepped to go for the door. And there's this moment where some of the go ahead. Yeah, what are you doing?
If servants are distracted from that, can I go and find Malthus and
Oh,
get him out
yeah.
from his little nest of
Yeah, absolutely.
servants' clothes that he's
Yeah,
probably
you've been pointed out to where he is. Yeah, you've been pointed out to where he is, and there's this moment where you step out of the employees' dressing room with a big ass hyena who's just like, and you're just walking there in your little patient's gown, but you look pretty badass as well. And we'll say you have a temporary club of a chair leg with a D3. So you can go for some fighting here. So yeah, you step out and like people are sort of freaking out and crying out the hyena. Like the bell gets rung. Yeah, and in this moment, the Bliss has performed this incredible piece. There's some like crying out from people who are like, no, we must have faith, we must believe in the purification, and others who are like, who's shouting back at them, and people who are sort of freaking out, having these crazy things, like, we're not cursed, and in that moment, the doors open. Oh yeah, go ahead, Bliss.
Sorry, I think I'm starting a chant. Blessing, not a curse. Blessing, not a curse. Blessing, not a curse. As the doors are opening.
Yes.
And like brief zoom in on Arcolic's face, who is like saying it with a tear rolling down his cheek,
Yeah.
thinking of his daughter who needs to hear this message.
Oh
Yes.
Yep, absolutely. And in this moment, not 2 but 3 Ningati step out of the elevator, and immediately this chant is happening. There's something wrong. They become aware of it. Weapons are coming out. 3. And yeah, this.
I'll go in right into the center of all 3 of them.
Yeah, amazing.
Impeccable footwork, and
Yes.
my goal's to disarm.
Yeah, great, amazing. So yeah, let's. What are you taking? You're taking
A fight.
Fight. You're taking.
If
regular?
you're cool with high society for my fencing training.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. I like it.
Dangerous precedent.
Yeah.
And then I've got that shiv. I guess that allows me to fight.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
do
It's
me
gonna,
some
it's gonna
damage.
get you in the case to actually do some damage.
I also have this cool thing, which I got
Yes.
after last session, called One Drow Army. And so I have +2 blood. That's cool. Also, my attacks gain spread D3. So when I inflict stress on one person, half of the amount go to D3 additional targets nearby.
Yeah. Yep. Amazing. Yeah.
So that my hope is to like damage them all.
Yeah. Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. You're coming in. Roll them. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, so let's see. I have
We're gonna.
Is
So you
3?
have 3 dice, right? All right. I'm gonna take away 1 because
Okay.
these guys are tough. So you're down
Yeah,
2 dice,
you-
but you got this.
It is your noble right.
Yes.
Okay, that's a 6.
Okay, amazing. Awesome. So you are in there. You are fighting. I'm gonna roll a D8 against you in terms of harm, see what you get. Roll that. Lucky you. That's 2. I did not fudge that. I'm not fudging any rolls here. So you you got 2 that you're untouched. Your blood is up. You've got some high resistance here. That
Yeah.
doesn't.
So I don't put that in my current stress, and can I resist just 2 more, or does it like it doesn't linger?
Yeah, well, so the idea is that like you do mark it, but basically until you get more than 4, you can't take anything from
Got
it.
it.
You
Okay.
can't take any fallout.
Great.
So they're striking at you, but you are fighting in with them. You're doing D3 stress against them. You want to roll that? Roll a D6?
Yeah,
And
sure.
have
So
it for me.
for D3, just roll a D6 divided by 2.
Yep. Mhm.
Rounded down.
Rounded
Rounded up.
rounded down. No, rounded up because a one is worth 1.
Okay, yeah. All right, that's a 5. So that's 3.
That's 3. Yep, absolutely.
And then
That's-
do I roll to see how
roll
many
another
more
D3
targets?
to see how many others you hit. Yeah, exactly.
3, so that's 2 additional.
Okay, great. Which is both. of
Which
them.
is all
So,
3.
oh,
Okay,
it's all
so
three,
they all
yeah, so
take.
Yep. They
5.
all take. Well, because you rolled the first one you rolled was 5, so it was halves to
Yes.
it's a D3. So they each take
It's a
2.
3.
Yeah, no, they are all hit pretty hard.
They all
Yeah,
take 3.
amazing. Yeah, they all take 3. Yep. Yes,
Since-
that's exactly right. Yep, great.
Since they're being attacked by our colic,
Mhm.
can I presume that this would be a surprise attack if I sick?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, the
Knock this
hyena
on him.
leaps down from the balcony and like on top of this Ningati guy. Absolutely, yeah.
And in case it's
And-
helpful, like I've got this shiv, and I'll just do like one kind of long attack across 2 of them, maybe
Yeah.
like going for their necks, but I may not get very
Sure.
deep, up to
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
And then the third one, I'm like
yeah.
in my main target, I'm just like
Yeah.
ramming
Oh,
it in.
Yeah, that's great. Were you trying to disarm? Was that your hope to get a?
Oh,
rapier?
you're right. I was trying to disarm.
Sorry. I mean, you're doing harm. You're still
The
doing harm.
flip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how mechanically you handle the disarm.
Yeah. I think here's the way I'd say it. I'd say we cancel one of the harm on one of them, and you get their weapon instead.
Love it so
Yeah.
much. So the third one, instead of just driving it home, I'll put it in the back of his hand and use that
Yeah.
to then take the blade.
Yeah, totally.
And this
yeah.
is this blade.
This is an Isian dueling sword. This is a D6 with parrying. Yeah,
Okay.
this is a beautiful blade.
In my element now.
Yeah, absolutely.
you.
All right, Chrysanth, you making a roll there for that Sikkim? How does that work?
Yeah. If Malthus gets on one of them, like Chrysanth is literally a second behind with the chair leg above his head, making a
Amazing.
melee attack on. I guess that second one who is still armed.
Yeah, sure. Great. Yeah, amazing. So you go ahead do that, and you get your brutal. So you're gonna roll advantage on the damage, assuming you succeed. So what are your?
Yes. So I get 2 d10s
So you
right
get-
for fight. So I
yeah,
got a
and
10
you lose a one die for
because they're higher level. All right, gotcha. Okay.
uh-huh.
Okay, I will do a little reroll. 9.
9.
Or-
Oh my god.
No. Nope, not 9. 6.
Okay. Great.
Okay. there
Still
we go.
quite good. Still
Yeah.
quite good. Amazing. Yeah, you're just gonna take. You're okay. You're gonna take a blood stress. So
Okay, I'll take it.
currently, because you don't have armor, you're still at 4 stress. You're now at.
I'm at
the
my-
equivalent of 0.
yep.
So
Yep.
now when you take stress, it actually is painful. But you, at this point, you're untouched. You got a little bit of blood out of your lip, but who fucking cares? You leap down off the balcony, and your hound leaps alongside you. These like devotees are pretty shocked by this image of this thing just ripping in. Let's roll some damage. How'd you do?
All right. So that means I get to double my dice roll for the
Yes,
damage.
so you roll
right, with
roll
brutal?
D3 twice. Yeah.
So which is a D6
D6
and a half,
halved.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a 6 on the D6, but I
Okay, great. So that's 3 damage. Yeah. Is there another? Do you have other tags or power?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. Good question.
Brutal just meant that. Did I take rip and
I think
tear?
brutal just means you get advantage on the damage roll, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I did end up or no, I did take. Ugh. I haven't used this in a while.
Because Sikkim gives you brutal, right?
Sikkim gives me brutal.
Mhm.
Did we start with 2 low advances or 3 or 1?
2, I think. Yeah, 2.
Okay, if we start with 2, then I also took rip and tear, which when you inflict stress in a melee combat, reroll the stress dice if it shows 1. If it shows the maximum number, i.e. 6 on a d6, roll it again and add both together.
All right.
So I get to add another one,
Yeah, you do.
Exploding
which is
dice.
5. So
Okay, so that's 3 more damage.
3 more down. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So this middle Ningati with this like big morning star is just eviscerated. Like, I mean, his head gets cut off, or like, and Malthus is down on him, ripping flesh, and Elfir blood is spreading across the grass. You've got two Ningati who are still there, and at this moment, the crowd of the devotees rush in and attempt to fight on their own, or to join you in the fight. I'm going to roll on their behalf, and immediately 2 of them are cut down by these Ningati, just like dead before your eyes, like collapsing onto the ground, and one shouting out, "Blessed, not cursed!" As he just like falls and gets taken down. What are Morol and the Bliss up to in this moment? Are you joining the fight? Are you doing anything, or are you what's up?
Okay, I mean, I've riled the audience up. I'm continuing to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm also gonna try and like slip into through the open door as people are engaged.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Are you waiting for anybody, or are you just walking through?
I mean, I think I'm gonna try and slip in because my goal is to find Altruin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mulro, if you want to tag along.
Yeah, are you trying to follow her, or what are you doing?
I got a couple things I want to ask, which is, has it been about an hour?
Since what? Oh,
since we've been in here.
Yeah,
like...
no question. Yeah, it's been about 2 or 3.
All right, so I need to ask you a question about the organization that you must answer honestly. As one of the staff now, if that's all right. I mean, I imagine I've been like talking to people and getting information or whatever in this thing round. I need to know what is up on the upper levels.
Yes. Yeah. So what you know is that those for whom the treatment is being effective are being taken up and continuing to be treated. There are or those for whom the treatment becomes too difficult are being brought up, and different experiments are being done on them, since it looks like they're probably, like Koro, for whom they're going to try something a little bit risky, since they don't know if he's going to make it. So people go up for both of those reasons. Anyone who's not responding particularly well sticks around in the lower area, and basically gets blood until it starts to not be working on them anymore. You know that there are a bunch of different facilities up on the higher floor. They refer to a place called the Pinnacle, which is sort of a 3rd highest level, and that's where most of what's important is being kept. Well, not important, but like a lot of the highest value artifacts are being kept up on that higher level.
So, great. I got a few. Sorry, everybody. You have fun with your little battles. I got to do some stuff. So, can I also start a little bit of an institutional falsehood, just a little bit in here?
Totally. Yeah.
I just want to try to cover some tracks and do some misdirection. That there are these extremist. What's the not ministry, but the mother?
Oh, the glorious.
What's the
lady?
religion? Yeah. What's the glorious lady?
Yeah, the faith of our glorious lady. Yeah.
Great. There are some like extremists, like sect situations, and I just want to start planting little seeds here and there about that. Yeah. Amongst some of the servants, if I got lucky to one of these Ningati, just like little things about that kind of stuff as we're working throughout here going on, as maybe just a potential cover of like, what the heck is going on here? So we would like that to, so people who would have reason to be like, this is a messed up cult and, whatever. So
Totally.
Seem good, everybody? Is that a nice little lie? Okay, great.
Yeah, that's great. And it's a little less like let me slip in some paperwork, and a little bit more like you're ringing on the bell, going, "The cultists of our glorious lady of
yeah, that's like the
Yeah.
climax of all my work, which was suggesting, in not so many words. I hear that there's a cult trying to get in here. How crazy is that?
Yeah,
So then I'm doing that. They're under attack, and then I'm gone. And then I will go with the bliss if I see the bliss starting to leave, and I'll get on the horn and be like, "We're going up."
Yeah, great. So the bliss, are you attempting to evade Morrow at all, or are you, if
You can evade me if you don't want me here.
What's your intention?
I think so, actually. Like, I think she thinks this is gonna go okay for her, so she's not worried about people tagging along.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So you head up. You step into the silver door, and there's this elevator that immediately shoots you upwards towards the upper level, where you immediately see as you arrive, and there's this moment of just shock of the speed of this thing that rises you up probably 500 feet. You get up and step into this place where there's still gauze over the windows, but the light is even brighter up here. And guys, I know we just took a break. I need to pee so bad. I will be back in just 2 minutes. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be back, and if anyone else needs to leave, you can. But we're going to be not even a break, just back in 2 seconds. Welcome back to after our second very small break for not an important reason at all. All right, continuing. We're back. We're doing our thing. So the Bliss and Moro have just taken this elevator up. Our Colic and Chrysanth are mid-fight with the Ningati, who are going to make their who are fighting back against both of you. Let's make a couple more fight rolls against the two of them from both of you. So just to see how this fight continues going.
Do you want to take it away, Jamie, or do you want me to?
First things for you. Said that the one that I squished had a morning star.
Yep, you got it.
I could pick that up.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Alrighty.
That's a D6.
Okay, yeah, that beats a chair leg.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess Chrysanth would immediately turn to the remaining armed one.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Or actually, no, he's gonna turn to the unarmed one
Okay, great.
and grin at him,
Great.
and hold up the morning star, and just take a swing at the knees.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, roll your attack. He's going to try and prepare some arcane energy to see if he can counter you. Yeah, but go ahead and do it.
Morning Star to the
And
knees.
I only roll with one because he's high
Yeah, because
level.
he's tough. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was also a 6. So
Okay. Yeah. So you there's this moment where you swing and miss, and you swing and miss. He's coming at trying to come at you. He pulls some icicles off of the tree and sends them flying in your direction. He's going to hit you for 3 blood stress.
Okay.
On top of your 5. I'm going to roll some of this for you.
Okay.
You're fine. you don't take anything, but you feel this crack of these icicles against you, and you're like, fuck, my armor's not here. Just this moment just feeling abandoned without it. And Malthus is beside you, and go ahead and roll damage on him. This is a D6.
This is a D6. 3.
Okay. Yeah, this guy is out. Yeah, how do you do it?
I'd say if I can get one to take the knee.
Yeah, totally.
Goes down to one knee. Next one, because he just threw the shards at me, just smashed the hands into a pulp.
Ooh. Oh man, yeah.
And then just swing at the head while they're down.
Yeah, and it's this moment where his mask comes off, and it's this beautiful Elfir face, and he says, "You are nothing," as you get him out. Yeah.
Oof.
So yeah. Now, Arcolic.
Does Malthus do anything?
Oh,
I don't know how that works.
I don't think he has a mechanical effect.
He's eating.
I don't think he. He's still just enjoying the first one that went down.
Yeah, totally.
The visceral.
But then Arcolic, you are left with another duelist.
Yeah, so I'm in like wide stance, doing full on. Everyone's seeing me fence now for the first time.
Yes.
Didn't know I was so damn good. Cling,
Yeah.
cling, cling, cling. Maybe I'm like backing him toward the door.
Yes.
Errol Flynn style.
Yes.
And I'll just do some kind of really aggressive, pretty reckless move in stark contrast to last time we saw me fight. Maybe I even like turn the blade downward and do like a full, totally no technique remaining to get myself like on top of him and just drive all that weight forward.
Amazing. Let's roll it. Yeah. So you take
It's
one
a
away
6
for his thing.
again.
Okay. Oh gosh, again. Yeah.
We're getting
nice.
lots of 6s.
Yeah. You are gonna take. I'm rolling a D8 here. You're gonna take 4 blood stress from that.
Woo!
So you're now up past your. You're now 2 past your resistance.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna roll, and you're fine. So yeah, you feel it. You feel some like slices along your arm, when you just like shake it out a little bit and feel like the sensitivity and delicacy of that muscle just a little taken out.
And there's no one left after that.
That's it. That's the 3 Nagata. Yeah, I mean you could roll your damage on him. We see like,
it was a 4.
Oh, it's 4. Yeah, he's dead. Yeah. So
Okay.
you
So I'll pull the blade out, wipe it on my red or my white robes. Now, big streak of blood. Is his blood a different color? Have we established?
I don't think I was trying to remember if we'd established a different color for it. Like I think it'd be interesting if it was gold.
Elbow too.
And I'm gonna chase down. This is now like, final scene pell-mell running through the silver door.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so like the elevators come up and then come back down.
Did they have like a head covering or something? Mask.
Yeah, they have helmets. Yeah.
I'll grab the helmet and put it on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
While we're running, I'm gonna roll a D3 and I'm going to invoke my one of my advances, which is the Murder of Crows. So I'm gonna take D3 stress to mind.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's terrible. All right, that's 3 stress.
Oh gosh, 3 mind stress. Awesome. Yeah, you feel that.
Yeah.
And you're currently at 3, right? That's
So that's up to 6.
amazing.
So I'm gonna call to Arab.
Arab.
And the medium advance I took was Red of Beacon Talon.
Cool.
So they can count as a weapon, and so I want to send them up after Mulrow and the Bliss, but not immediately behind them, but maybe so that if we can't get there in time, they can provide some backup.
Yeah, awesome. Sorry, I got momentarily distracted. So the goal of the crows is they're just joining you in battle, coming up the elevator with you. What's the plan?
They're maybe not in the elevator with us because that's going to be a little weird. But
yeah,
sort of,
wait for the next one.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, they're following behind. I wanted to send them after Mulrow and the Bliss.
Great, cool.
But
yeah, sweet.
Thank
so
you.
Yeah, so you are heading up with a couple more like Granth who has like it got a couple teeth knocked out by the guy with the Morning Star, is like bleeding profusely out of his mouth, but says, "Pretty good fucking job." And you're all heading up together. Meanwhile, the Bliss and Mulrow, you have reached the top, and there's this momentary sort of confused quiet until you hear this sort of like arcane intercom, and you just hear a chuckle. I see you, and you recognize the voice of Nihilus Oak Branch Blooming, who is sort of being heard throughout the facility. You hear the tromping of other these like sort of Ningati guards who are moving throughout the space, but momentarily they haven't yet reached the elevator. They're sort of like, this place is trying to mobilize quickly. What you can see is from here, these rooms are a little bit more strongly like delineated. There are what you can see is like you're basically on a circular thing looking down on multiple chambers where people are being kept. You see the first place you step down is you see a drow who is like testosterone swollen, just like not natural, like they didn't make themselves this way, like huge, and their skin is like unnaturally sickly pale. Their eyes are filled, like they look up and you see their eyes are filled with like cataracts and like blooming weirdness, and they're sort of like drooling. This is like a figure that is like sort of staggering to its feet, someone that is they have tried to make into an Elfir that appears to be in pain and to be hostile and confused, but they are like trapped like inside this room, looking up, hearing the alarms and uncertain about what's going on. What do you? There's, it's a circle, so there's past the left and right of you. You can hear the footsteps coming from one direction. What are you doing? There's a couple of other rooms that you could get a sense of if you were, moving around.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to avoid a fight, find my guy.
Yeah.
And so I'll dodge into one of the rooms with a horrified glance at the experimented upon drow beneath me.
Yeah, totally. So let's roll, like try to sneak past, like try to get past these other guards without being noticed by them.
I love sneak. Okay.
Do you have a domain you'd like to use with that?
I don't think I do, but I did roll a 6.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to roll mind stress on you, but I believe that this will pass to somebody who is not you, right?
Yeah, my mind is crystal shining and pure, and madness rolls off of me onto others. Full language.
Okay.
So, sorry, Mulrow is going to take 2 mind stress.
It doesn't specify that it needs to be a player character.
Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
sounds
make
to
one
me
of the-
like it's a positive thing.
Got it, yeah.
Thank you. I liked it.
Yeah. So you look down, Mulrow, and you see the transformations that these drow have undertaken as you continue sneaking around, and you're able to get out of the way, partially because you hear Arcolic and Chrysanth coming up on the other side, and like the Ningati sort of immediately start to engage with them. You step forward and look over the railing and see other drow in these like crystal chambers, some who are just like emaciated beyond belief and like burned black, like the darkest drow skin you've ever seen, and one, like the one you see, is like praying, like reaching up his hands, as like the curtain starts to rise and the sun starts to shine in on him, and he like feels this horror as this is coming in on him. Yeah, so you all are feeling that as that goes, and the Bliss, you hear, you like look down to like there's another like big doorway, and you hear a voice calling you, Delore.
And that's a name that I know means someone from my past life, and maybe I even recognize the way he says it, and I'll run to it.
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
gonna
you'll run and you'll hear me shout behind you.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
in,
So like you.
wait.
Yes, yeah, but
Yeah.
there's a moment like and like you run in and the door like shuts behind you, not locked but there's a moment where you're
Yeah.
kept from Moreau, and you step into this huge, beautiful chamber, and there's like a fixture in the center of it. This you sense is one of like the pinnacles, these higher places, and there's like a sort of not a crucifix, but a kind of like Da Vinci Man frame for someone to stand in. And you see standing in front of you is the form of Altruin, splendid among dragons. Your mentor, the artist who you worked with. You see him gesture and like sort of arcane energy ripples around the room. He says, "The alarms are ringing something different, but I knew it was you. I saw you."
Tell me where. Saw me climb. I
Saw you.
noticed. I knew you'd be. I knew you'd be
And
at the
he
top.
like comes towards you to embrace you.
I'll take steps towards him and then pause like right on the edge of where he could wrap his arms around me. What is this, Altruin?
I wish you'd found us later. This will be resolved soon, I'm sure, all this chaos. Nihilus will take care of that, but I wanted to come to you when it was finished.
What is this, Altruin?
This, Delore, this is your chance. I'm going to cut away from you for a moment. Suddenly, all of you have reached the top. You're fighting. You're in mid-combat. These, you've got now like a dozen of these devoted alongside you, fighting their way through Ningadi. And also you see like one of these like mutated drow has joined the fight on the side of the Ningadi, like sort of confused and angry and like, faith, purify. And you hear laughter, and suddenly all of the sheaths on all of the windows and pure golden hour sunlight shines in on all of you. Everyone make a resist roll against the harm that the sun immediately causes you.
Okay.
What does that
So,
consist of?
It's just a regular roll, but if you have the resist ability, you can add a d10.
9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Occult?
Uh,
I grabbed the helmet. I don't know if that was
do
helpful.
it. Roll it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Roll 2 dice.
You're merciful.
9,
9? Oh my gosh, amazing.
8.
not 6 this time.
Yeah, amazing. So none of you take stress from this moment. You all are able to like pull down quickly enough that this like burning sunlight coming in on all of you is momentarily blocked. But you hear the laughter as like out of like down like this beautiful alabaster staircase comes floating the shape of Nihilus Oak Branch Blooming, who sort of like reached out. One of like the devoted is like burning and says, you did this, and he comes towards you and towards Nihilus, and Nihilus reaches out and like with this with an arcane wave of his hand, the sunlight burns brighter around this figure and like mirrors come out of his arm, and the figure is surrounded in light and immediately combusts in flames, and like before you in moments like burns and becomes ashes, and like falls down to the ground in this place. The Ningadi are standing above a lot of you. All the drow are sort of cowering for a moment, and Nihilus like looks around at the whole group and says, "What have we here?" Does anyone react or speak?
Before things get crazy, sorry, But I'd really like to be beneath the passing gaze of this individual and trying to sneak into wherever the bliss went to overhear what's going on in there. Because this seems like a shit show in here. And so,
absolutely.
But I have a power called Citizen's Mask that I think as this is going on and things are going crazy, I'll have switched my mask into something that just allows me some mastery when trying to pass as someone unimportant or beneath the attention of my target. My target is that scary laser death ray, solar death ray guy.
Yes, totally. Yeah, you all
so can
of
I
you
sneak away, hide, get away? Okay.
Totally. Yeah. So all of you are like, the sun is having an effect on all of you. Like, none of you are fully protected from it. It's the strength of, all of your sort of power in this moment and resolve that's keeping you from taking harm here. You are able to sort of like slowly crawl towards this place with the citizen's mask on. He his eyes pass over for you, but even he is susceptible to the power of the citizen's mask. So you're sort of heading closer to the door. Arcolic, are you about to do something?
Well, first of all,
yes.
What I would like is to use an ability,
yes,
which is called Tell Me What I Need to Know.
Great.
I cut to the heart of the matter. And the
Yes.
question that I would like to, I get to learn who has the answer to this question.
Okay.
I want to know, what is the biggest hazard that could potentially bring this building down? And where is it?
Yeah.
I don't know if, short of it being like a generator that I can detonate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. There's so what you learn from this ability is who has that answer, or you learn the
yes,
thing
exactly.
itself?
And maybe as I'm like cowering from the sunlight, my head is in the clear and I'm looking around.
Yeah.
And maybe I see the laughing man hovering somewhere to lead me. Is that like a cool way to narrate it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think he has the answer to the question, but I think also nearby you there is one of the servants who is working here, a drow servant who is fleeing and who is now burning under the light of the sun, and who is nearby you trying to crawl towards the elevator, which it appears has been disabled. People are pounding at it, trying to get it to go down, as the sun is just blazing on all of these drow, and the Elfir are just standing completely untouched by it. But yeah, this person is nearby you and you can grab them.
Okay, yeah. I grab them, wrench them toward me. How do I bring this building down?
Yeah.
Tell me how to destroy it.
Oh,
there must be something.
It's not built to, but I think all the power is in the pinnacle, the runes. All of the runes are being kept there. You could up, and there's this alabaster stair, the one that Nihilus has just descended down. So yeah, that's your way.
I drop them and look up that alabaster staircase, seeming to be fixed on something up there, and you'll all just see me slowly rise, sword at my side, and start ascending the staircase.
Okay, yeah. You so you're headed that direction and immediately drawing the power of Nihilus, who's going to make an attack against you in a moment. So you are go ahead, Chris.
Can I respond to Nihilus's question about
Yes. Oh yeah.
So can I start from the floor, cowering? Go. We are the devoted. We are your servants. We are the ants beneath your boot. We are the dead that you set out to fight in your wars. We are nothing to you. We don't mean anything to you people. We're gonna kill you. I want to cackle with Malthus.
Fuck yeah.
And take a D3 of blood to strike fear into him.
Fuck yes. Oh my gosh.
Does Malthus cackle with you?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's cackling alongside you. Incredible.
Right, roll the force. That's 2 more blood stress for me.
Okay. Amazing.
Yep.
Woo! Yeah.
Stacking up there.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So are you at 10 stress right now? Is that right?
Um,
Or 9? No.
I thought it was 9, but yeah,
Yeah, 9.
yeah.
9, 9,
So
9.
yeah,
You're good. Yeah, you're good. So 9, which means you're at a practical 5 because you've got all that resistance. Yeah, but I don't think your abilities, an ability like that,
Trigger
I don't think triggers a fallout roll. That would only
Yeah,
happen
okay.
when you take harm again. So you are just like this damage is coming from you rising into the sun. Like this is just like beaming on you, and you are smoldering and smoking as you rise up with this Ningati mace, and are about to move towards Nihilus. We're gonna do a roll, like your attack roll against him momentarily. Meanwhile, back with the Bliss.
Yeah.
Altruin looks at you and he says, like he hears this happening outside. You look back and you can see vaguely through a haze, like in some shaded windows, because you're still protected from the sun. You can see the windows having opened, and you can see some people sort of lowered down. You can't see Moro coming towards you. The shapes aren't clear. But he says, Valor, I have been working on this alongside a man who doesn't truly care for what this can be. But I believe in this. I believe that you can overcome the curse. You can be what you were always supposed to be. One of us.
And she, hearing what's behind her, and with a sense of urgency, feeling like things are collapsing, he's going to stride towards him and embrace him, and then whisper in his ear, "Where is Marion?"
He came to me. He wanted help. I offered it to him. But he could not survive the power of the sun. We weren't ready yet with the experiments. We couldn't do it in time. But we're close now. I think you can do it.
And she has embraced him, and he has said this sort of like into her hair, maybe even like stroking the back of her head.
Yeah.
And she'll just let out an almost feral scream and fling him down onto the ground, and advance over him, maybe put a foot on his chest if she can.
Yeah. You don't understand what you're doing. Listen to me. I can help you.
My friend was perfect the way he was. And your art is conventional. It's trash. It's expected. There are more beautiful things to come. And I want to pull out my knife. I'm not a fighter, but I think I'm going to pull out my knife. And as I do, I'm going to use my glamour magic, which I don't have to roll for.
Yeah.
But it lets me become whoever one NPC wants me to be. And I'm going to just become like the beautiful version of myself that his tea allowed me to be when I was working for him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hold my knife above him. And there's a moment where the Bliss hesitates, and she's not sure.
Yeah, and he's looking up, sort of entranced by you in this moment. You could be incredible.
And then, can I compose myself, Bliss?
Yes, that is exactly what I want.
Yeah, Moro, you're in. You like pulling the door open and stepping through, and suddenly, you feel yourself out of the weight of the sun.
Yes. And I think taking in this scene, Perhaps that happened moments before and kind of caught this like down knife draw hesitation.
Yeah.
Moro will start to cross with just a hand on the dagger under his, or on the pistol in his robes, and this is the choice.
Revolution involves killing. That's what you said to me. And she'll raise the dagger and she'll let it slip out of her hands and it clatters to the floor and she lets out a strangled sob.
I'll cross over and I'll pull the pistol out and shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
If he is prone enough and he's not gonna do anything, I mean he's welcome to, but that's my intention.
So I think you make the shot, and he like sort of is just like pulled out of it long enough. He sees the bliss turning away and like starts to get up, and you shoot him, and he notices you. The bullet strikes him in the eye, and you see as it just immediately a bloody mess where his eye was, but he's like pulling away with arcane energy, slides across the floor and sort of tries to lift himself up as he is standing there, arcane energy sort of moving, but he's like staggering, bleeding, not totally in control. But this is just totally narrativizing at this point, but I think the blow of it flings the pistol out of your hand and onto the ground in front of the bliss.
I'll pick it up and make a shot. Okay. What do I roll for that?
Yeah, roll.
Oh.
Just roll. Roll a die. Do you have
had a really cute thing to say, but this is better.
Oh, sorry.
No, this is better.
Sorry, what do I roll for it though? I never have handled a gun.
Do you have fight? Do you have a domain you think would apply? Otherwise, you just roll one dice.
I don't have a domain that I think would apply.
Okay. Basically, what this is going to decide, I'm just going to tell you now, is the failure will mean that he gets away.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The bliss is gonna. Sorry, I feel like I just keep rehashing this because I love it so much. But the bliss is gonna look to Mulro one time, and she'll cock the pistol, and she'll shoot. Okay. 7.
Yeah, that's it. So, you never take mind stress?
No, it's once per situation. I don't take mind stress.
Okay. Then you're going to take D10 mind stress from killing your mentor. You have to, right?
Oh, I'm so happy. Don't worry. Yes.
Okay, so you take 5 mind stress from that, which means I have a 50% chance of moderate fallout happening to you. Let's roll it.
And I do have 1 in mind, just so you...
Oh, yeah, okay, so you actually have less than 50%. Yeah, you have a 40% chance of taking my fallout. You feel the stress of this moment, like the moment of temptation, like the moment when you were almost willing to go with him and do what he said. You feel that, and you feel like the potential collapse of your ego, the collapse of everything that you built and everything that you are. You look at him and you shoot him in the face, and he collapses dead, and you feel nothing.
Revolution means death. We should get out of here. We should get out, Mulro.
Yeah, meanwhile, boom, Chrysanth, you are running towards Nihilus Oak Branch Blooming, who is pulling these mirrors. Mirrors are surrounding him. You feel this solar energy soaring towards you. What you doing? What's your rolling here?
Is there any way I can get my Oreb and my bird friends to form around me to help block any of the rays of this? So
Yeah.
I'm not using them as an attack, but just
Yeah,
a way to
protecting you from
block some
some
of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally, absolutely. Yes, they come and join you. There's like these fluttering shapes around you. So I'm gonna give you mastery on this roll.
Okay, cool. Then I am going to try to break his fingers
Okay. Yeah.
with my Morning Star.
Yeah, with Morning Star, amazing.
Alright,
So sorry,
this is-
so you get mastery, you have to lose 2 dice. This is the highest possible difficulty that exists.
So the cackle drops him down 1 difficulty rating.
So you only lose 1 die. That's right.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
this guy who's just been cackling at this, like laughing at this whole situation, sees you rising, standing with the sun behind you, this silhouette of this like demonic drow with all these like flying birds around him, and Nihilus Oakbranch Blooming is afraid.
All right. So mastery and then drop down 1 die means
Drop
I think
1.
it's just
Yep,
straight
3.
roll. Wait, is mastery 3 or?
So you had regular fights. Did you have a domain?
Oh yeah, regular fight. No, yeah, regular fight and mastery. So now it's
Okay,
so
so
that
it's
was
2.
3. Drop down 1, so that's 2. Okay.
2.
Okay, 8.
Oh my gosh, yes. You come towards him, the sun is like bouncing off of you. You're barely feeling the heat of it. It's like you're in Nujab again. You strike out against him. Boom, let's roll your stress on him. So it's a D6.
D6 with this Morning Star. 5.
Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Yeah, he takes you crush his right hand. Like you just feel these bones snap, and he cries out. And meanwhile, you are taking time for Arcolic to rise up into the pinnacle chamber. The sun feels even brighter up here, and there it's just like blazing. Let's do a resistance to see, like roll a straight roll,
Unless you want to let me roll 2 like you did last time. Helmet.
Yeah,
Oh, but it's but it's just too much.
It got more difficult. Let's
Okay.
roll one more time.
All right, I love it. 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll stress on you. I'm gonna roll not a D10 but a D8 from like just the power of like this place is designed to torture and kill drow.
Yeah.
You take 3, so that means you were at 6 blood and now
Yes.
you're at 9.
So 5 functionally.
Yep, 5 functionally. I'm gonna roll your fallout. It's a 1. So the lower then means you take
Yeah.
fallout.
Yeah.
You suddenly you feel the sun, like you're just like this heat is blazing, your skull feels like it's going to implode, and you collapse. Like there's this place in the center. You see these like books of arcane runes that you could use to bring this place down. You collapse, and when you lift up your head, you are in this perfectly black, perfectly cool cave. You lift up your head and into the smiling face of the executioner. The like smiling, jovial, horrific drow who watched you, who was there when Rosendracker died, who has watched you do all of these things. He looks at you and he says, you have gained the fallout chosen. This
Sure have.
is, you pass out and awaken in a half dream state before your god, and you can strike a bargain with them in exchange for your life. If you accept their terms, you return to consciousness, changed, always changed. And if you don't, you slip away into death.
I've seen your face. You haunt me. I know the moment when you'll take me is close. But I beg you, for the sake of my daughter, give me the tools to tear down the city. Let her live to see it ruled by Drow.
He doesn't say a word. He's never said a word. He laughs, and you see behind him on the walls of this dark cave, you see images of Spire burning. You see the image just now of Chrysanth crushing this Nihilus's hand. You see steps away from you, the Bliss standing with the pistol held out towards the body of Altruin, splendid among dragons. You see this future, and you see your daughter, Maro, a grown woman, wearing a red scarf around her neck, looking up at the burning spike that is the Spire. He laughs, and all this is worn away, and you see the glass of the tower around you, and you see as he's reaching out with his hand, and as he reaches out, the runes to destroy this place emerge around the shape of this, and you feel in another plane your body rising and striking this into the surface of the glass with your with the blood of other drow who've fallen around you that is left on your hands. Do you say anything to your god?
You who oversee all death. You whose medium is to kill. To you I pledge my final breath. May I be ashes to bring your work to those who oppress.
He rises in an absolute triumphant laughter. There is jubilance in his expression as he looks on you, raising up his hands, and you find yourself in the tower, looking at him, surrounding him, and he looks at you, grabs your hand, and the tower collapses, an explosion of sunlight, and the two of you are catapulted out into the air, where you and he tumble in the blazing sunlight.
And if I may,
yes,
as I'm falling, trying to tune out the chaos and destruction, I just speak, to myself, if to no one else.
Yeah.
Nihilus, oak branch blooming, you are hereby declared dead by the city of Spire. Your voice is silent, your cries unheard. Ashes will be ashes. And I trust fall into death.
Down and down and down. You, Chrysanth, are there as girders and glass and metal collapse. The entire apparatus of the pinnacle collapses onto Nihilus, Oak Branch Blooming, as you leap back out of the way, lacerations striking your arms. You feel one of your arms break as you are just thrown backwards, and all of this plunges like a girder goes through his midriff as he collapses down, and the whole building is falling down around you. I assume by this point, someone has broken a fingernail.
Oh yeah. I did that like 5 hours ago.
Yeah. Amazing. Incredible. You, the Bliss, and Moreau are looking up at the tower where you just saw this strange moment, and like for a moment, time seemed to freeze, and you just heard this laughter in your head, and you watched as Arcolic was thrown with the force of the spell that he'd cast through these runes out of the tower and down. And you hear around you the beating of enormous megacorvid wings as these huge crows with drow on their backs are descending on the place where you are now standing.
Bliss just screams Arcolic's name in shock, this utter shock.
Yeah. Moreau?
Has nothing to say other than like we gotta for at this point.
Yeah. you feel yourself pulled. Sophia grabs your shoulder, Moro, and says, "Good fucking job," and like pulls you onto the crow alongside her. You see another huge crow, like 14-foot wingspan, soars into the wreckage, and Meridian leaps off of this crow and grabs Chrysanth your hand as you are tumbling through glass and steel. And there's this moment of the two of you sort of like wrestling for this, and like you're not putting effort in, like he's just grabbing you.
Yeah. You're gonna hang there for a second looking at him. And his legs tense, I think, a little bit, getting a little leverage, maybe on the underside of whatever this large crow is.
Yeah.
And then, as if he wants to pull him off, but instead he's gonna reach his second hand up to grab onto Meridian.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah, go ahead.
Where's Malthus, and can I grab Malthus?
Yeah. Malthus is nearby. There's other crows coming in. Like some of the devotees are getting like picked up by ministry members on crows. Malthus is already on the back of somebody's.
Okay.
And he's a little bit like yelping for you in confusion. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll put another hand on Meridian and get pulled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He pulls you up and like embraces you on the back of this crow momentarily. Pulls away, and the two of you are staring at each other.
I've been looking for you.
I've been looking for you too. And like this is still happening, but this is a frozen moment of you all. You are sitting, you're with him, everything else is moving around you, like the building is collapsing a little bit. He says, "We need you, Chris."
Did you do it?
This place. They turned us against each other. All of us trying to be like them. I would never have done it. But I couldn't save him. And if you want to kill me for that, if you can't forgive me for that, that makes two of us.
I made a promise that I'd see you dead for his life.
Look, I don't mean to be light, but if you work with me, I can promise you'll see me dead.
I'm counting on it.
Let's fucking go. You get on these crows and yeah, Carson.
I was gonna say, yeah, if we're flying off on these crows, I think wherever we land within a few minutes can find myself with Bliss.
Oh yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we have a moment for any sort of epilogue stuff. So we've gone away. You all from a distance on the backs of these crows see the collapsing of the Immaculate Arboretum. You're on the backs with all these other devotees who are just like stunned and drugged and confused. Even some of these people who've been experimented on. The charred man who's like they're like emaciated. He's on one of these crows. They've gotten a lot of people, you're like flying away as soon as you can to avoid like the Elfir airships that are coming to sort of stop the crisis. But you all land safely down in Middle City. You're sort of secreted away. But yeah, you have moments you're together. Everyone but Alcoholic.
Thanks for that reminder. I think the soonest possible moment can I find the bliss like dramatically turned away from me, not speaking, looking out like over at like the city or something like that.
Yeah. And she's not crying, she's numb.
Great. And Monroe just kind of appears next to you. Revolution will mean death. It means killing. We lose our friends, and we take theirs. But today you taught me that it's more than that. Your art inspired a power, a belief far greater than any pistol or sword. For the
Just
first
wanted
time, for the first time in a long time, I felt hope. Real hope.
I just wanted to have a beautiful life, you know.
And Moreau will unmask and hug the bliss
Oh,
and
What
kind of
is-
whisper. Oh, sorry.
what does Mulro look like? That's not...
Moderately handsome, of course, but a little bit, older. There's like actually a little bearding, a little bit at this point, and the hair drawn back, sort of in a half pony type situation. And while I'm embracing you, I think like kind of whisper in your ear, it will be beautiful. We are not cursed, and these fucks aren't ready for our blessing.
And she will cry into your shoulder. And with one mentor dead, another mentor has arisen.
Chris Santh, are there any sort of unfinished business either in this group of people or sort of like montaging into the next couple of days? I just like everyone can have a chance. Like that doesn't have to be our last scene. Like anybody, yeah. What happens?
I would say, perhaps if you two hear a voice coming out of the necklace, being like, if you two are done braiding, if you two are done braiding each other's hair, I think we need to take a drink to honor a fallen friend.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
So bring over 4 glasses. Pour them out for each of us. Hold it up and say, to our colic.
Who burned bright.
Good dad. Good man. I want to tell you both, I wasn't entirely honest about why I started doing this. It didn't matter to me what was going on. I just I want you to know my heart's in it now.
And I think I'll pour another drink for all of us. And just kind of raise it up in your direction with, well, good. I'm glad to hear it. Take a little drink. And
A little drink and give a little to Malthus.
I was going to say, thank you. Thank you. And I assume I'll direct address to Malthus. And I assume that goes for you as well.
He's like chewing on some like elf ear finger he got somewhere.
Good for him.
Yeah.
He likes you more than I do, so I don't think I could pull him away if I tried.
Yeah, he lifts your hand of bliss and like leaves some blood on there.
Great. Oh gosh.
I gave him extra fingers when you weren't looking.
Yes.
Goes off.
Yeah. And I think in the next couple of days, you all head down to an old chapel of the midwife and take the oaths in blood and become members of the ministry of our hidden mistress.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Mulrow has John Lovett's eyes when this is happening, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Sorry.
What else? The Bliss, did you have something?
Yeah, I wanted to find Mara, our
Yeah.
Collick's daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh.
I think I know enough to track her down.
Yeah, you do, and so does Syphia, who's willing to
Right.
make that connection for you. You're currently muted, Graham, but I think what's the situation that, like, who's taking care of Mara at this point, do you think? Is it Brother Bell? Is it someone from the community? What's the situation, do you think?
This is several days later.
Yeah, I think so.
I love the idea of Brother Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
looking after her, at least temporarily, becoming a formative figure for her.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that too. It's really cool. But yeah, it's probably like a mix of people at this point. Like there's probably suddenly there are all these falsified reports of this mortician executioner who got killed in the line of duty. There's another drow who gets arrested and killed for having done it. But that's the price the ministry has to pay to keep their operative secret.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty clean. Like they work pretty well to do it. Yeah. And so there's a community of folks helping Morrow out, and there's this sense of, with a lot of the people, is a sense of, well, we knew it could have happened. And Brother Bell greets you and introduces you to some of the community folks as having been our Collick's cousin. You're in the hanging house and perch.
And where's Morrow? Where is she being kept?
I mean, I think it's day. I think she's here with everybody. Like there's maybe some lunch and there's just a lot of folk around, kind of like not enough to overwhelm her, but enough to feel like she's got people.
Great.
But
Yeah.
as you want to speak to her, like Brother Bell can sort of shoo people out.
Yeah. When I said where's Morrow, that was the Bliss speaking to Brother Bell. But
Oh, sorry.
But she was there. She's in the room. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll approach her, and the Bliss has made like some toy, maybe like a little, I'm trying to think, or Graham, do you have an idea of like what would be thematically resonant if the Bliss were to like make some custom toy for a child? Like, should it be a rapier? Like, should it be like a toy one?
A candle or some sort of
A
flame,
candle.
holder.
Yeah,
Some
I like the
paperwork.
idea of a lantern.
Yeah, lantern. Just like, so she's made like this beautiful child's lantern, and it's sort of encrusted with diamonds, but when you turn it on, there's moving shadow puppets that kind of move across the different sides of the lanterns and project little movements. And one of them is of a man writing down some paperwork. One is of a man dueling. One is of a man, I think, falling, but it's sort of beautifully rendered. And she'll present this to Morrow.
Yeah.
I made this for you. I'm an artist. I know you're glad.
Wow, that's so nice. Do you see that? Who is that?
Oh, I mean, I'll hope you'll forgive me for this, but it's meant to be your father. See, this is him sword fighting, and that's him writing his papers.
Is he good?
He was not just good. He was wise, a good swordsman, a good person, a good drow. And he loved you a lot.
Because everyone has always said that he's not. And I just hoped that was wrong.
It was wrong. Oh, baby, it was so wrong. And she'll cup Morrow's cheek.
I think you're good. I think this is really good. And she'll like take it and hold it tight.
And I know you have a lot of people here to care for you, and I hope I can be one of those people too. I'll check in. I'll bring you more lanterns, toys. Is there an animal you like? I'll make a stuffed animal.
I don't know. I think maybe a sword.
We'll start with a play sword maybe first.
Okay.
And unless there's more that you want there to be here, Graham.
No, I mean, I just think she'll, if you linger and spend any time, she would be doing the thing a kid does where they just subtly start leaning on you or like crawl up onto your lap. I mean, she's 10, right? So she's not like a toddler, but she'll like take your hand at some point and just be, like realizing that you are a person who can support her in a way that these other people can't at the moment.
Yeah. And I think this is just like a community that Bliss sort of tunes into, and Bliss comes to visit frequently.
And maybe when you leave, she's like looking into the lantern and you see the light reflecting in her eyes, and there's something a little scary about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next time a sword. I'll remember. And she'll leave.
So you depart. Unless there's any other moments. Are there any other moments? Carson. Yes. Are you muted?
Maybe.
Okay. There you go. Good.
Sorry, not as heartfelt maybe in this sense, but I do have some business of the heart to deal with.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I imagine this would be like the heat is on a little bit as far as this like romantic relationship, and probably there's been some times with Lady Tallow that have been like, I don't know, Ted, forgive me if this is right, but maybe Lady Tallow's getting bored of this since nothing's really quite happened, and the suspicions she had are kind of like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
That's how I am. Right. And so I think I'd like to just find Jack one day, or like maybe ask him to, or maybe meet him at his quarters.
Sure. Great. Yeah. He's got his own quarters. It's you, full uniform.
Yes, and I am wearing a new mask
Mm.
around that has kind of intricate carving, like gilded inlay of like just like kind of like designs, curvatures, all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And forgive me, Jack. I wondered if I might speak with you.
Of course. I'm happy to speak with you always.
Well, as butler of this house, as you know, I must be careful and strategic in all my actions. Doing otherwise would prove dangerous not just to me, but to those who serve alongside me.
Certainly.
Jack, I fear I have made a grave mistake. A mistake that I have brought you into, and I'm sorry. I've put you in danger, and it's only fair that you know the truth. You deserve to know.
What is it?
My dearest Jack, I have cherished our moments together to a degree you haven't known until now, and in my precarious position I have found solace in your presence, comfort in your smile, and a love that burns brighter than any candle in the darkness. And I'll remove my mask here, which is the mask of the lover, which allows me to make one NPC fall for me.
Yeah.
My heart has been yearning for you, and I can no longer keep my feelings hidden. I love you with all my being, and I hope that you can find it in your heart to love me too. I understand if you need time to process these feelings, but please...
And Jack leaps to kiss you.
Oh, yes, acceptance. Great,
Yeah.
acceptance.
Yeah.
Acceptance.
And
And,
this moment, just as we should have expected, with a kiss of love, of slightly chemically enhanced love.
Yeah.
great. And just as a final
Incredible.
thing,
Yes,
we fade. We can determine if it's the early morning or whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Monroe gets up, leaves the space, goes into his quarters, looks into his mirror, and cries, and composes himself and looks back at the mirror. Fuck. And then will like put his stuff back on and
Yeah. Incredible.
get out for the day's work. Gotta get the shit
Yes.
done out here.
So I'm gonna give a final sort of wrapping up.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
You
no,
will
no,
do
go.
that. I've
Yeah,
never
do
done
the
it yet,
thing.
but can I please show Lady Tallow that she should not have underestimated me?
Oh yeah. Totally.
Great.
Yeah.
Right, refresh.
Yeah. Amazing. Yes. Yep.
Two.
I think you showed us all that you underestimated you.
Anyway,
So,
thank you.
Yeah, you
You
refreshed.
go on.
Over the next few weeks, all of you go about your business in Spire in a newfound light, especially for the Bliss and Chrysanth, newly devoted to the ministry, given tasks, paying attention to certain things, paying attention to certain people. Chrysanth, one day, Malthus walks away from you at some distance, and you sort of turn. There's a moment of confusion, and you see that Malthus is eating out of someone's hand. You turn, look up, and the figure is this inky black smiling drow who grins at you and chuckles. Moreau, you are in the kitchens working. There's a big dinner. A lot of things are happening. Something falls. It's like a dish clangs to the ground. The like lettuce and some sauce goes everywhere. You grab it, and another hand grabs it, and you look up in the face of another servant, whose mask comes off, and you see the smiling executioner. And the Bliss, you are walking away from Morrow's home, the former home of our colic. Brother Bell is speaking to you, and you look up into the doorway of the church that Brother Bell, where he serves his parish, and in the shadow of the doorway, you see a dark and smiling drow. And you see in his expression some familiar smile, some familiar snark of the duelist you once knew. You look up beyond him and see the pinnacle of the spire rising to its single point. The sun appears impaled on the spire. And you know that before things end in ashes, they must first catch fire. Welcome to Spire.
Oh, we're in for it.
Wow. Next season when?
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Ted.
Oh my gosh. I'm
That was
glad
so
we've
good.
I know that went a long time, but oh my gosh, what an incredible
was fun.
session.
Wow.
beautiful.
Oh man, that was beautiful. Thank you all so much. Thanks for sticking around those in the chat. Woo, baby. Yeah, we gotta we'll be post-morteming that in the open chat of our Discord.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, baby, that was incredible. So a few announcements. Tomorrow night, I believe we have the conclusion of
Yeah.
the Marvel heroic role-playing
I
game.
feel like this thing's been trying to conclude for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm so
well,
excited.
it was a little open-ended how many sessions it would be. So,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
if
just
you
so
like
glad
endings,
there's more.
We have another ending tomorrow. So Future Reign is at 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time tomorrow. We're facing off against Norman Osborn, who has the Carnage symbiote and has taken over about half of the United States of America,
Oh wow.
and has
High
his own team of
stakes.
Avengers.
Kristen and I
yeah.
know all about Carnage because we've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap, so
Yeah.
we know what's going on.
Oh, how cool.
But yeah, incredible. Soon, next month, we will begin a stream of The Last Caravan, a Cars and Aliens role-playing game which I designed and which on which Graham is the developmental editor. We're so excited about that. And otherwise, just keep checking out Ghostlight RPGs. Join us, become part of a community. We're so excited to talk more with you and have you part of the group. And with that, we'll say goodnight. Thank you all so much. See you soon. Hopefully tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
Come on.